Hey, everybody. Welcome to a SOMIFA season preview for the 2020 card set. We got a nice crew here. We got 6 of our coaches, including the defending champion and the runner-up, but let's not mention that. So everybody say hi real quick, and then let's get on with the show. This is going to be a 2-hour show. That's it. 11:13 West Coast time, we're out of here. So it's 9:15 now.
Is it a 2-hour show or a 3-hour tour?
2-hour show. 2-hour show. This is not the SS Minnow. So, yeah, we could actually, it's almost like a Brady Bunch kind of. We could put people into the roles of Gilligan's Island. I think I would be the captain. The captain. Tom would be Gilligan.
How am I Gilligan? I should be the professor.
Okay, Tom can be the professor. I think,
or I guess Marianne. If we're gonna gender bend, she's pretty nondescript. She's we have done enough characters. We're running into problems already.
All right. Well, let's go. Let's everybody say hi real quick. Nathan, Deb, Ben. All right. So jump in when you have a point to do. We're gonna start with the defending champs. We're gonna start with Tim, since he might want to check out early. Yeah, there you go. Tim's kind of howlish. So
I said who would be Mr. Howell? I'm having a hard time finding that.
I would. Oh yeah, it's a tough one. Dan, because he's with all the politicians and the highfalutin crowd. So we'll give him Mr. Howell. You're on mute though, Dan. So can't get your comeback there. Okay, so congratulations, Tim, on winning the championship last year. It looks like, according to Ed's power rankings, as we look at the Bucks, that you've taken a little bit of a hit on the rating. So talk to us a little bit about that as we look over your team.
Okay, thanks. I've got a Dallas Cowboys shirt on, so Zeb, shout out to you there. I think I was pretty low in the power rankings last year. I think I was like in the bottom 5 or 6 probably. It comes from having a really bad offensive line, a pretty bad defense, and those things count a lot. Yeah, you guys probably noticed too, Ed kind of truncated some of the running back yards. He cut like long runs down this year in his rating. So Miles Sanders obviously, won't look as good with the plus 74 on 11. I like this team pretty well. I don't know if it's as good as last year. It's going to be close, though. I'm going to miss Tevin Coleman. He was on pace to set the SOMIFA rushing lead all time until the last game. He slept really good, but he was at 7.2 going into the last game. He was as important as the quarterbacks for me last year. I mean, he was huge. We ran for like 2,600 yards, so it had a lot to do with me spending a 3rd-round pick on Adrian Peterson. I feel like I need to really have a lot of carries to kind of run the offense the way I want to run it. And oddly, despite drafting Derek Brown, I think I'm going to stay with a 3-4 this year.
And so who are you playing at nose tackle then? Darren Payne?
Yeah, he's only going to be a 4-3. And, of course, I don't have good linebackers. I've got a 0-6 at right end. So, it's going to really be a challenge defensively. But, last year's team wasn't that great, and it's just one of those things. You don't have to have a great defense in one particular game. You have to, maximize your possessions more than your opponents do, and just have to find a way to do that this year because I've got a lot of challenges here and there.
Yeah, I think that's actually it's easier to play with bad linebackers than the 3-4. So you have all those 0s and 4s. You don't want them standing on the island in a 4-3. You can move them around and shift guys around and play a little deception there.
That's my way of looking at it. I just feel like you can defend the flat zone so much better with a 3-4. I kind of gotten used to it over the years. I play with a 4-3 occasionally in different leagues, but I really like the 3-4 myself. It's kind of how I'm most comfortable. And just looking at it, I could just feel like I was going to get picked to death in the flat zone, and it just gives you more options if you have a 3-4. And I don't know if I started 4-3, I was going to have a 5 at one defensive tackle and a 4 at the other. So just having a 4 in the middle is not that big a change, and I would just rather have the extra movable piece at linebacker. One good thing that'll help, I don't know, kind of got lucky, I guess you would say, with a couple of guys that didn't have good years. Dawson Knox didn't really have a good year. It's a workable card, though. I feel like I can, work with Knox at tight end. That's why we didn't overly spin there. He's, got enough yards flat, right, and I think he's 22 short. So, he's workable. I had a couple guys that were kind of like that. Slayton wasn't very good. I kind of thought he'd have some long gains, but he's really not all that good. But he's pretty workable. Everybody starts somebody kind of like that for the most part. That's not all that good at second receiver. So I don't know what's going on.
You got the best receiver in the set, according to the ratings disc, in Calvin Ridley. Even without the double teaming receptions, he's up there with maxed out in every column and some long gains everywhere. So that's good.
Yeah, really.
You said he is the best what, Dennis?
Well, I think in the ratings disc, he's like listed among the top receivers.
Oh, Calvin Ridley. Okay, I'm sorry. I thought you were talking about Ed's receiver ranking for the team.
Hey,
no,
Tom.
Calvin's at the top of the ratings disc.
Just so you know, it sounds to me like your volume is fading in and out. I don't know if that's a microphone issue or not, but I just want to.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I'll look into that right now. Give me a minute, Dennis.
All right, so here's that Miles Sanders card that Tim was talking about. I didn't have the screen sharing then, but he has that plus 74 and 11, plus 82 on an end run, guess wrong, plus long gain on 4, and then a long gain on snake eyes on the line buck. So that's going to be a big hit or miss card for you, Tim.
Yeah, he is, but he still picks up good 3rd and 2 kind of yards like he did last year. He's a guy that is not going to kill you, guessed right, in the red zone at 3rd and short, and he had a bad year receiving. I watched him drop a lot of passes last year, but he doesn't get any. He's only a flat receiver this year, but they gave him a 30 or a 5 as a flat, so. I feel like I kind of got lucky with a couple guys, like say, that didn't really have good years, but I can work around them.
And you're definitely going Mahomes full time this year, right? We're not going to see any Dak Prescott cameos unless there's an injury. Is that right?
Well, we'll have to, wait till the season. But yeah, you're right. It's obviously not a great. I thought Prescott had a great year, but he didn't get carded well. They kind of made him into a huge running quarterback. I don't know. I think Strat has a thing. If a guy's not the leading quarterback on the team in attempts, they're going to knock him down a little bit. And I kind of feel like that happened with Dak.
Yeah, he only had the 5 games played and rushing attempts, I guess. So I guess per game, they figured he deserved that type of must-run action or whatever. So Tim, what do you see as your default offense on like 1st and 10? Regular, to start the game. Kick off 1st and 10. What formation are you coming out in?
We're pretty much locked into like a blocking back set. That's kind of the way we look at it. It's really a 2 tight end set. We just have 5 blocking back as far as pass blocking, so I keep him back there. But that's kind of my design. I mean, I don't know, 80 or 90% of the time in modern leagues, that's what I want to run. I'm not a 3 wide receiver kind of guy, and I'll run 2 tight end if I have to instead of the blocking back. But like I say, I'd rather have the blocking back for that reason. Jarwin had a couple of great years in a row, even not including the playoff run he had last year, which was good. But he's been a key part of our team back-to-back years before this year. We kind of missed that. Like I say, I'll have to push Knox with a bad card. Ebron is kind of like Jarwin last year without the dot in some ways. He's good. He's one of those guys I got from Nathan in the Shady McCoy deal a few years back. He's one of those guys that kind of gives you like a 4th round kind of value every year. He had that one great year, but he's one of those guys that just steadily contributes to the team. I've kind of enjoyed having him.
I think he's a really good player for your team. He's a pass blocker, which, well, you asked about Mahomes and Prescott. Mahomes has got one of the worst flat pass cards in the whole set. I mean, it's not horrible compared to some other sets, but it's certainly not of any quality.
No, it's better than last year, but it's not the. I've kind of over the years grown to really like strong flat pass quarterbacks. I feel like it's one of the things you can base an offense on. If you don't have the pass blocking, you're going against great pass rush. If there's just a lot of things it brings to the table. I think when you have a great flat passing quarterback.
It's when they don't pass rush. It's when they sit there and triple team everyone. And now there's the dump offs. You're getting hurt by it compared to other quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Mahomes, you're telling me Mahomes can't dump it off basically as well as, Andy Dalton or
Ryan Fitzpatrick?
Yeah, whatever. Anyway,
I think you're right. It's a flaw in the way they do the card design.
But I like Ebron for the blocking, and I also like him because at that position you cannot double team him if you can a second tight end with the inside linebacker. That's actually a really big deal.
Yeah, and that was one of the things. It's one of those things that came up a lot in the playoffs. I thought, against a couple of teams, I'm facing really good pass rushing left linebackers, and they're facing Ebron, and you can kind of find plays to kind of keep those guys at home or make them think about not rushing your passer. And I don't know, the threat of a good receiving blocking back, or I think somebody and I on this panel talked about this. Your fourth and fifth options, probably Nathan. Fourth and fifth options are so important to designing an offense to me. I really put a lot of stock in those things this year. And yeah, Jarwin's not that, Knox isn't that great. Had to kind of roll with him, but you look, he's one of those guys that's like 8th or 10th in the flat pass right for tight ends. And like I say, he's 22 short and five run blocker. And I don't know. I just didn't feel like that was a big position to invest in this year.
He's perfect for your team. I mean, and the thing is, a pass rush, a guy who's going to blitz all the time is still going to blitz. But a guy who double teams that position is a pain in the ass to try to deal with. If he's a pretty good possession guy, which he is. He's got like 26 commas, I think. I guess or whatever it is, right? So that's pretty solid. And you have to if you double him, then you're leaving real threats downfield open. And no one wants to double Ebron all day long, but that's the only position that they can't double with a linebacker that's going to be worth the crap to you. So,
yeah, and I feel like there's a few of us that kind of play with that as a major driving force offensively. Is if I've got you doubling my second tight end and my running back with your free safety, I'm creating plays downfield that may not show up in volume because I don't throw to wide receivers as much. Obviously, if you're going to the tight ends and the backs a lot, but you can get real high production out of those guys. And that's kind of, how we played a lot last year. Slayton had a really good year. We didn't throw to him very much, so we spread the ball out. We ran 50% of the time. Henry Ruggs is obviously one of those guys we drafted kind of for that reason. He's one of those guys that could, kind of add gravity to the offense. It makes you, really think if you got a 4 against a guy like that. I'm not talking about this card set, but maybe down the road. If you got a 4 or 0 against a guy like that, it's really tough to move your free safety around a lot without them going to double a guy like Ruggs. So,
all right. Well, we got to get to the predictions if we're ever going to get through this thing in 2 hours, which doesn't even look likely after the first team. But I'm going 9-7. I want to go 10-6, 9-7. So everybody else, shoot me what you think the defending champs are going to do. I think those zeros on defense are finally going to catch up to you. I could be wrong. I love Mahomes, but Miles is so hit and miss. So I'm going 9-7.
Dennis, why don't we establish an order for the announcing the 3 or 4 of us aren't trying to talk at the same time?
Well, Tom, I'll ask who I want to talk. Tom, tell me who you got.
I'm going to go 8-8, Tim. I'm sorry. Obviously, Mahomes is excellent, of course. Miles Sanders has got a really good card, probably one of the best ones in the set. I have not really scouted all the cards in the set. I do think the defense is problematic. He's only got 1-7 on the offensive line.
2-7.
Does he?
Yes, because the default CM has Risner as a backup, but he'll start him.
Moton and Risner.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I'm looking at Computer Manager. Oh, so we don't have an updated league file.
Well, that's what Ed sent this out so everybody could make their coach files.
I got you. If you get a chance, Dennis, shoot him an email or Slack him real quick and tell him to send you an updated one. We'll have at least half the teams or whatever. Okay. Well, 2-7, that makes a difference. I'll go 9-7. I'll go 9-7. Dalton Risner showing his value. Okay.
All right, Nathan.
I'm gonna say 10-6, but I almost want to say 11. I think that the receivers are good options. I think your pass block is pretty decent. Don't really like the defense at all, obviously, but I'm glad you're playing a 3-4 instead of a 4-3. So that makes me feel better.
All right, Zeb.
So, quick question, Tim. Miles Sanders he could actually go long last year, couldn't he?
Oh yeah,
his receiving card's way less.
Yeah. So you've got Ebron back there, but you're not really gaining much because you're losing that threat with Sanders. Correct?
Yeah, and you got the operative word there, threat. If you look, I probably didn't throw it to him long, 4 or 5 times, 6 times all year. It was one of those things. He was drawing a lot of double teams, and I didn't want to mess that up. I kind of enjoyed watching, people really focus on him long, and went to other guys a lot. But yeah, if he was in the right matchup, occasionally I would. What's even funnier is I almost never threw to him short. In the Super Bowl, I'm thinking Dennis is looking at tendencies, and he's like, he's saving a play. He's only thrown to him short like 4 times all year. He doubled him on a key play at the end of the Super Bowl. I happened to get a dump off for a touchdown on the play, but it was a great read by Dennis because I had been kind of saving that play. But anyway,
even though we can't go deep, I had the same experience with McCaffrey last 2 years, where he just gets doubled so much. It's like you can't even throw to the guys often as you'd like, even just flat passes. Getting like double like. He would have had Julio Jones. I swear he was getting double more than Julio Jones. Okay.
Yeah, people just remember what they see on TV, and McCaffrey gets so many passes. So
to be honest, I haven't looked at the schedule. I don't know if I'm going to play you or not, Tim, but I'll just throw this out there in case I do. I probably won't double Ebron very much, even though he can go long because he is capped at 27 yards.
Right.
Unless you're inside of my 30, that's not really that big of a threat to me. Whereas, like, if he was even if he had along a 31, but he had that dot and he could break it, take it the distance from anywhere, I would be more worried about that. And as someone who does have some experience with Patrick Mahomes, I think you're going to run it. I do think you're going to have some problems. You're going to have big plays, but your passing game is going to be chunky and your running game is going to be chunky. Your offensive line, your strength of your quarterback is passing downfield, and that doesn't match up well with your offensive line. And if you run into teams that can play ball control, if you have a couple of bad possessions, get some bad breaks on those chunky cards, go 3 and out, and they can just move the ball and eat up time. For your sake, I hope it's not too frustrating a season. I feel like this is a team that's not going to play as well as it looks on paper, unfortunately. So I'm going to throw out 8-8.
Perfect.
I want it on the roster. I'm the only one that likes the team.
Yeah.
What was that?
I think I like his team the most. Out of what I've heard
so far. Dan, what do you got? Are you still muted? Dan, you're still muted. Just put it in the chat. I can't hear you.
Dan's just going to give us the thumbs up, thumbs down system.
Can anybody read lips?
I think that's 9.
Okay. All right, just put it in the chat. All right, we'll go on to Tom's team now. Thank you, Tim. I didn't put you down for predictions because I don't think you're going to last the whole thing. But if you want to send me yours afterward,
yeah, I'm about to actually sign off. I'll try to listen to the show for a little while longer. I agree with you guys. I see something around 9-7 on my team. I don't think it's great. And special teams may be the thing that gets us over 500. Actually, we've got Deontay Harris and Younghoe Koo, who are both very good. So
Yeah,
But I
Ed,
don't really like this team a whole lot either for
Ed
winning.
marked you with like the third best special teams in the set. So. All right. So on to the Jets.
In the league.
Yeah, in the league.
By the way, Dan picked 8 and 8 for Tim.
Okay, perfect. Let's stick that in there. All right.
All right.
So let's let you pontificate about the Jets real quick, Tom.
All right. Not much to.
You guys got me now?
To about this team. This team was very bad this year. This team was very bad this year. Down in the 3-4 win range. We obviously lost Christian McCaffrey, who was obviously like a huge part of the offense last year. We had Chandler Jones last year. We don't have him this year. Melvin Ingram was even like a defensive end 4-8 or something last year, which was still helpful. And the replacements have not been on hand. I like the talent going forward for the future, especially if Darnold can be kind of okay at least. But yeah, no, I have Ryan Fitzpatrick at quarterback. He's only got 11 units of long pass wrong, and he throws a fair number of picks. David Montgomery is the halfback. He's kind of okay off tackle, but he's very chunky and not that good. Guess right. My second receiver is Cooper Kupp, who doesn't really give you too much any big play threat in the short pass, long pass department. I agree with what Tim was saying that when you're trying to compete, you want to. I normally like to put 5 good receiving targets on the field, but this year I'm probably just going to go blocking back because I really didn't bother knowing I was going to be bad. Drafting a decent second tight end or blocking back who could catch. You see him starting a left guard 0 in the run block game for 0-5. There's really no strength anywhere in this team. DJ Moore and Mark Andrews are good. The defense is really bad. Let me get to that.
You're going to run a 3-4, obviously, with Kenny Clark.
Yeah, it's how long it take me to click on my defense, by the way, Dennis. I'm running a 3-4 with bookend zeros. I got defensive end zeros. I got a zeroed inside linebacker. I go 0-5-0 in the line. I go 4-0-5-4 at linebacker. I go 4-5 at corner. 4-6. I do have a 6 free safety, which will be really helpful. My cumulative pass rush on the defensive line is 9. And my highest linebacker is a 7 or an 8 if I play Rashawn Gary on the outside. He may make some appearances. The team's not built for the year. The team is bad. I'm going to lose 10-plus games pretty easily, I think. That's how I see the team. But, I feel pretty good about the talent level. And I feel like next year it'll be more. It should be if Donald's okay and if McCaffrey bounces back, it should be more like an 8 and 8, 9 and 7 team next year. Maybe a little better. Who knows?
Yeah, we've already seen, good performances early in the year from Darnold, better than he had last year. Cooper Kupp's playing well. DJ Moore's playing well. You expect Mark Andrews to be playing well by the end of the year. David Montgomery's doing this.
It's really Darnold, the offensive line, and the defense. And I've got a lot of young linebackers who I think can do some things. But those are the 3 areas where, that'll determine what this team looks like next year. And of course, I'll have a very high pick, presumably top 4, 5, 6. And there's 5 quarterbacks got drafted in the NFL first round. So, and there's other good players there. So, that should be an appealing pick, I think.
Yeah, and Ed has you 18th of 24 in card ratings, 21st of 24 in offensive line ratings, with the 24th quarterback, the 22nd running back. So all that points to I'll go first again. Yeah, I'm going to say 4 and 12. So we'll go right to the predictions so we can save time here.
Sure.
We can just, if you have time, go ahead and read Tom's draft review, which was very good. Covered a lot of it.
The bad teams are always the fastest to do, Dennis. Good.
All right. No. So let's go. Tom, what do you think about your own team?
I got a feeling I'm going to go 3 and 13, but I'll pick 4 and 12. Montgomery have a couple of games where he hit some chunky rolls, and somebody have some bad luck, and John Johnson will have a timely flood of a flat. I'll go 4 and 12, but I have a feeling I'll go 3 and 13.
Perfect. We'll keep going the same order. Nathan, what do you got?
I'm going to go 4 and 12. I think you play a couple of the other rebuilding type teams. I think that you'll beat at least those two.
My first losing season in about 6 years, though, so that's not too bad.
All right, Deb.
Hey, are we under any sort of pressure to try to make all of our picks add up to?
Yes, we always do that.
Okay, so that's going to be harder too. Well, and I feel like you're kind of on the hot seat, and like of all the coaches in the league time, you're one of the ones who maybe,
Hey, I went to the semifinals last year.
Well, that's exactly. So there's a lot of pressure on you, and going from the semifinals to 4-12, or I'm going to throw out there 3-13.
There we go.
You're not in a hot seat yet, but I see pitchforks coming up by the end of the season.
The New York Post has got the headlines ready. Cooked, something like that.
The New York Post always has the best headlines.
Yes.
Nice. Dan, what do you got?
I was going to say 4-12, but too many people did 4-12, so I'll go 3-13 with Zeb.
Perfect.
Better draft position if I get Zeb and Dan correct.
Plus, I know I'm going to be over with my wins and losses, so I'm going to save one with Tom.
That's a good move.
So this is what I'd like to do.
By the way, wait, hold on. I wanted to say, I think you're selling that team short, Tom. When I look at that roster, yeah, you're going to have a rough year, but you got a lot of solid players on there. This could be one of those teams that goes from 3-4 wins to freaking 12 wins in 1 year.
No, yeah, I do like a lot of the talent. I think for the modern league and the current environment, the linebackers are kind of like scary. And if Chandler Jones has 80 sacks this year, that'll help.
Yeah.
Hey, do you or anybody else? I'll just kind of throw this out there. Have any concern about pairing up? I mean, your lead quarterback and your lead running back both play for the same team in Darnold and McCaffrey. I think what I have to do is dump McCaffrey. I'm really upset about it. I didn't plan it that way. Darnold was on the Jets for 3 years, and but I don't really care about that. If the guys are good, and the jury's still out on Darnold, it's a good start, but 2 games against teams that aren't great, I guess. Oh, who did they play today? It's the Saints. That's right. But I don't worry about it. But yeah, ideally, I know what you're saying. You like to have a running back like Miles Sanders, might be one of the best running backs to have now. Not only is he good, but playing with the quarterback that probably won't have the highest completion percentage in the world. So yeah, you like a running back from a certain situation. And I know what you're saying. It's kind of like if you're in the same team, unless they're both like amazingly good, somebody's going to get hurt on the card. Yeah.
Right, Zeb?
Yeah. That's exactly it.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know if Donald's my long-term answer right now. And I mean, I love McCaffrey, of course. And I think if McCaffrey has a good year, he'll get a good card, unless like Donald does something like ridiculous, which I don't think is going to happen.
No, I don't. Of the two, I would probably, if you were going to mix it up, I would probably hang on to McCaffrey and move on from Darnold.
Yeah, I don't worry about that. I think we've seen examples where you have good quarterback and running backs on the same team. Baltimore comes to mind with Ingram and Lamar Jackson. I won one of the spring leagues with Chris Carson and Russell Wilson. So it does. I mean, I think there are times where a really good running back will take away from the quarterback or vice versa. But I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing if they're quality players.
What do you think? Well, you got Tennessee with Tannehill and Derrick Henry. I don't know. What do you think about that Derrick Henry card this year, Zeb?
Man, it's got some big gains, and I've got a lot of people calling running against me in S28.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't blame them.
And Dennis, you mentioned the Seahawks. You had Russell Wilson and Marshawn Lynch when Lynch was getting great cards. Wilson was still good. But I know what you're saying, Zeb. Like, if you have Mahomes with Gus Edwards, that type of card or something like that, like you definitely don't want that running back for the really good passing offense unless the guy has a great average and is a big name and gets 1,400 plus yards or whatever.
Well, as far as Derrick Henry, the one thing I do like about that card, is that he gets 30 plus carries a game without getting tired. Where Gus Edwards, who Ed has ranked higher, is more limited.
Yeah, I was just throwing Gus Edwards' name out there because we know he gets great cards.
Well, we may have to do a post at some point of we didn't really revisit the whole chunky running back situation this year. Kind of, I know we posted on that in the past, who we liked and who we didn't.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, so here's what I decided to do as the host. So we're going to do everybody's team that's in the chat room first. Then after we go through that, I'm going to assign you a team, and then you're going to talk about them, and I'll give you a little time while I start with the first non-owned team in the draft. So, okay. Dan, let's go to you. Since you also, we can wait if you want.
No, I'm good.
I would like you to talk about your Dolphins, and then we'll make our predictions, and then we'll hit everybody in the room, and then we'll go on to the non-owned team.
Well, what's the problem, Dan? You don't have enough liquid in you yet to talk about your club?
No, I just get used to being last. So, all right. So, I'm feeling pretty good about the team. I mean, nothing to make a run or anything, but I've got a Kyler Murray's card. I'm a little disappointed in his guessed wrong short pass. Not that I expected anything different. I mean, it's crapshoot anyway, but he's got a great flat pass card, but that's kind of not an advantage as much anymore because everybody's got a good flat pass card except maybe Mahomes, like you talked about. But I think you have 20 something quarterbacks that have really solid flat pass cards, and that gets into the whole pass rush thing, which is a whole nother different discussion. But Murray's great flat pass. I didn't lean on his I threw too many flat passes last year, I think, with him. And although his completion percentage was great, I didn't take advantage of dump offs, must runs, and that type of stuff. So I'm thinking I'm going to go a little bit more short this year. And what was really helpful was picking up Kittle. He just adds a whole different dynamic to the offense. Before, my best receiver was Jarvis Landry, and I saw Zeb's post about, Jarvis Landry doesn't scare anybody in SOMIFA or in real life. So Jarvis is a little pissed at you, but he's a good lefty thrower. He can play quarterback better than you can, though. So Landry, Kittle will take some attention. Gore's run card is not good, but it gains, consistent 3, 4, 5 yards, guess wrong. So I have enough run blocking. I'm going to put Wynn on the right side. Kittle's got a 6, Wynn's got a 5, Lindsley's got a 6 up the middle. So I can probably pick up some good yardage on the D cards, as well as some consistent yards with Gore. I don't think people are going to be calling run very much like Zeb said about the fear of Ebron not going long. I mean, Gore's, I think his longest run's like 17 yards or something like that. So nobody's going to be afraid of him popping short gains, which he has none, or any long gains. So I think Gallup.
Quick question: are you going to line up Jacoby Myers as your starting blocking back?
Oh, frig yeah, absolutely. So
that's kind of a cool twist.
You can line him up all over the place.
Yeah, you know what I was going to do is if I didn't get Kittle, I was going to try and get someone like, I have Fulgham's card's not great, but I was going to go 3 wide and 2 3 wide with 2 backs and put Jacoby Myers back there, because when you have I think I was bitching about this on the forum last year. When you go 3 wide and 1 back, that one die roll on end runs with a pistol quarterback can really kill you. And that happened to me last year. You get a limited amount of end runs every game. And if you get a 1 once or twice, that can really screw you up because you really want your guess wrong card. But with 3 wide and 2 backs, you don't lose that guess right on 1. Yeah. So I'm going to go blocking back, and I might even go, because my pass blocking is not great, I might even go blocking back pistol. And Murray's got 6 end runs and just run Gore off tackle linebucker. And that way I'll take 2 off the pass rush of everybody rushing. It'll allow me to throw downfield a little bit more, especially if they're not showing blitz. So that's kind of the offense. And then I might switch them around. Like you said, I can do a bunch of things with them depending on which outside linebacker's weak. Gore's not really a great receiver, but depending on which outside linebacker's weak, I might go 2 tight end or blocking back, because Gore's got a 3 for pass blocking, so that's all right. So that's kind of the offense. I mean, it's not a powerful offense, but I think if I mix up the plays enough, I can move it. And if I just got to stick to going downfield a little bit more if people aren't showing blitz. I love flat passing, but it's kind of hard to put together, 12, 13, 14 plays drives every single time you get the ball. And that end run, it's feast or famine. He's got about 15 hits of 11 or more. And the only way you're going to hit some of those good ones is if you throw short and long a little bit more. So defense, this is another one where I have ironically a Patriot on the other side, just like Myers on the offense side, where Winovich, I'm going to have fun using him because I'm going to put him at left defensive end with Zadarius Smith at left outside linebacker and blitz him all the time. So Winovich is 0 against the run. Won't really matter that much all the time anyway. And with Smith blitzing, I'm going to take a look at what the right guard is and what the right tackle is. And if the right guard sucks, I might throw Winovich over at right outside linebacker instead of Collins. And I had Everson Griffin up until about earlier tonight. He was at 0-7. I would have felt comfortable putting him out there, but I might have to put a crappy Alton Robinson at defensive end. But still, I'm going to move Winovich around. I'm going to blitz my ass off, which is why I'm going to keep Poyer at strong safety. So I have a 6-5-5 on base in the secondary with a 6 nickel in Callahan. And that way I can just throw Wilson back. It's unless he's a 6, it's useless for me to have my free safety, not move all the time, whether it's a flat, double teaming, or blitzing. So that's kind of the way I'm looking at it. I mean, you fill some flats every once in a while. You blitz all the time. You blitz about 50% of the time is what I'm going to think, and probably free safety blitz a third of the time. It's a one-trick pony defense. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And hopefully I can hold on to the ball enough. But I like the team. There's a lot of options I can use with it. It can be anything 7. I'm thinking 8-8. I'd be 8-8 is you play the league 100 times. 8-8 probably comes out the most, but I'm hoping to squeeze out a 9 or a 10 win season.
All right. Well, I'll put you down for 8-8. I see what you're doing there. And I think you're going to struggle mostly because Gore's not going to get you those guess wrong first downs the way you hope. I mean, he's had some really good cards. This one just doesn't have the juice. And I know what you're saying. Like you can really tell you weren't going for the year when you pick somebody like A.J. Dillon instead of like a better card for the year. Now, A.J. Dillon's got a great future, but because he has less than 50 carries, he's not going to be able to help you as much as he normally might. So I will go. I'm going to go 7-9. Whoops. Button.
That's a good point, Dennis. If I can just jump in after that 7-9, it's interesting because Dan 3 or 4 years ago, and I sent this to an email to Nathan after we did the Everson Griffin trade. But Dan 3 or 4 years ago, and I was actually kicking myself after this draft for not grabbing J.K. Dobbins. The injury really, he wouldn't have been there in the second round had he not got injured anyway. But with the injury, he was there when I picked in the second round. But for some reason, the injury got in my head, and also Alex Highsmith got in my head. So if Alex Highsmith wasn't there, it would have been easier. But in hindsight, I should have grabbed Dobbins with the understanding that Barkley was going to be carded next year and Dobbins wasn't. Use Dobbins this year, and then if I would have done that, Gallman might have been available. He would have been available. Who knows if the draft goes the same way? But instead of taking Salvon Ahmed, I would have probably taken Gallman if I would have done Dobbins, and it would have solved the problem that you're mentioning right now. But I'm trying to think a little bit more. This team is pretty young if you look at the ages. So I was trying to think more long term. I didn't think I had the team, like you said, to go for it, and that's kind of why I grabbed Gore. I wanted carries, so I wouldn't be stuck drafting a running back, even though there were a ton. So anyway, that's it.
Right. Yeah, and you don't mean Gallman. You mean Alfred Morris, I think.
Yeah, sorry, that one. Yeah, Alfred Morris. Yeah, good point.
Got it. I hear you. All right, Tom, what do you get? What do you got for the Dolphins?
Boy, I respect Dan's coaching a lot. He does good with the flat pass stuff. I like that Kyler Murray M run card. He's got some interesting receiving targets with Gallup and Kittle. I think Gallup's got a good card, but I didn't even look at him.
Yeah, it's okay.
The secondary is great. I got a feeling he's going to do pretty decent. I'm going to give him 9-7. I was going to go 8-8, maybe even 7-9. But the secondary, and I think Dan's due to maybe have a bounce or two go his way. I'll give him 9-7.
All right, Nathan.
You guys are talking about Gallman? Is that?
No, Alfred Morris. Sorry.
He meant Alfred Morris. I knew it was a New York Giant running back.
Okay.
Gallman wasn't in the draft. He's on Joe's team since 2017.
Yeah, whoever's filling in for Barkley when he's injured.
But your running backs are Gore, Ahmed, Salvin, and AJ. Well, whoever, right?
It's awful. Yeah, you're right.
Okay. I want to make sure there wasn't a back, because that's the part I hate about your team. I love your defense, especially how you play, because not only can you blitz as much as you want, but when you're facing those teams that dink and dunk the whole time, you've got the guys in coverage at corner and safety to flood the zones and stop that type of thing if you want to, without having to risk huge plays against zeros and fours at corner. You know what I mean? So I love the defense. I think it's great. I don't like the running backs at all, and I don't. Kyler Murray is going to be a really good option for you against certain teams, and against certain teams is probably going to be a nightmare because of what you said with the guest wrong. And even the must-run quarterbacks, I have a ton of must-runs. I'm not a huge fan of, because you can actually stop a lot of that with shadowing on third down. So I'm going to still say 9-7 because I really, really like the defense.
You know, another thing on that is the I think you saw in the forum, if you read, like, this is going to be a very low turnover offense, which can also be helpful. And, you know, with McManus as a kicker. So Murray's got really low interceptions. And as I wrote on the forum, I got one real life fumble out of over 300 carries in real life. So there aren't going to be a lot of turnovers. So if I can do a good ball control offense, I should be all right.
I think if you pick and choose also some teams to play through receiver sets against, that you definitely could do a little better.
Yeah, that you know, those forum posts that you made, Nathan, about 3 wide and using that 3 wide receiver when they put the extra DB back in the long zone and that type of stuff, I think could be useful. And even though Gore's not good, there is that 6 at center, so I can actually run some line bucks with 3 wide and still get some good blocking ratings if they don't bring anybody up.
I feel like you were killing me with flat passing and a 3 wide in a game that we played in the last year or so. I don't know what league that was. Was that the SSFA playoff game?
Yeah,
I don't know. There was you were killing me with 3 wide flat passing. And the quarterback wasn't as good as Murray at it.
No,
so.
I like the flat pass. It's one of those weird things where I'm hair on fire aggressive on defense, but I'm overly conservative on offense.
All right, Zeb, wind us up with the Dolphins.
I see the same problems that Nathan does and Dan. I'm just going to throw this out there, and I'm sure you're already thinking of this, Dan. But don't forget you can still use AJ Dillon in certain situations. So don't let those carries go to waste.
Yeah, you want to use him in those third down and short.
Because I mean that's where he's going to be most valuable, and then that will let you milk a few more carries out of Gore.
Out of Ahmed, because he's unlimited 1/2.
Actually, Ahmed's got a better card than Gore running, so Ahmed's going to play in the second half a lot.
That's pretty good.
I think you may actually see more run calls on defense than you expect. Just because sometimes people will call run just to get away. Well, one, you've got Kyler Murray's end run threat, and 2, you've got all those must runs on his passing card. And if people see you throwing short and they look at that short pass wrong, they might just take their chances with run.
Yeah.
We'll see. But I think I'm gonna say 8-8. I don't think it's you could be plus or minus 2 on that, but that's about where I see your team.
All right. So after you do your team, I'm going to give you 2 teams to look over. So after we finish out the teams in the room, you can talk about those 2 teams. So Dan, why don't you look at your alphabetical roommates, the Rams, Wayne Unruh's team, and Minnesota. So look at those 2 teams. I'll come to you to give us a soliloquy on them afterward. Tom, why don't you do the same with the Giants and the Steelers? And then I'll come back to you later on for those. So
I just want to add one thing. Dan, Brandon McManus is my kicker.
Oh, shit. Jason Sanders. I have McManus in SSFA, but Sanders is just as good.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Thanks.
Nice.
Oh yeah, and my special teams, my coverage is good, my punter's okay, my kicker's great. So that and low turnovers should help too. But anyway, yeah, thanks for that. I'm not in very many leagues, but I mix up my players a lot.
Fair enough. All right, so let's go on to the recipient of that trade, and if you weren't aware, it was a Miami sent over Everson Griffin to the Atlanta Falcons for a 5th-round pick, and the Atlanta Falcons coach is with us. Nathan, let's talk about your team. Why don't you take it away?
Well, I like my offense. Minshew is pretty usable.
Yeah.
I think Ed rates him like number 10, so I definitely can work with that. And my running backs I like my running backs a lot. Obviously, Dobbins is pretty lethal, guess strong, doesn't have a lot of carries. And Singletary is actually a little better guess right than I expected for some reason. And even Gibson isn't too bad, right or wrong. So they're all pretty solid. I'll use all of them, I'm sure, because of the lack of carries from Dobbins, and people are probably going to guess a lot of pass. The receivers, Metcalf obviously is solid. Tyron Johnson and Marcus Johnson are like those guessed wrong type of guys that have big gains, but are definitely going to drop some passes too. Which I think, if I'm actually forcing enough runs, then that might help anyway, or at least throw some deep balls to guys that are in 4s or 0s in coverage when I get the chance. Ingram and Fant are usable at tight end. Obviously, they're not like crazy. Like I sometimes have really, really good tight ends, but those are both still pretty good. O-line, it's all right. I mean, I've got all 5s, a 7 and a 4 in pass blocking, with a 6 and a 5 on the run, so that's not bad. The defense is definitely going to be tricky. I'm probably going to be playing a lot of the 2 0s at DM, the 0-7s, with a 4 nose tackle. But obviously, as far as the starting lineup, I guess it's all 4s across with no pass rush. The 3-4, I'm just going to be blitzing, I'm sure, a lot, or flooding zones, depending on who I'm playing. And I have the 5s at corner and a 5 I'll play at strong safety. So it's kind of like what I said I liked about Dan's team. This is like a super light version of that, where my ratings aren't as good, my pass rush isn't as good, but it's the same idea. I can blitz the teams I want to blitz. I can flood zones against teams I want to flood against. And I actually like the 2 6s in the middle. I like that a lot, probably more than most people do. Like to the point where I started 0-6 a lot of times over like a 4-4, So I don't know overall. I think because of my offense's strength, and I think because of the pass rush, I think I could probably get 9 or 10 wins. I'll probably pick 10 and 6 for this team.
All right, I like that. And I think a lot of it, I mean, they always say, oh, it's all in the attitude. Guys, I think almost everybody in this room is like, if you really want to win, man, you can squeeze out a couple of wins just because you're like doing everything you can to try to win that game. You know what I mean? Like where
Goodness.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, you're coaching hard, and instead of like you come into the game like, well, my team's out of it. You're still coaching to win, but if you're really going for it, you probably have a little more. You probably have definitely more intensity. You know what I'm saying? And it's like if you're not going for it, it's like 10 in the third quarter, and you fumble a punt. You're kind of like, well, what do I expect? These guys suck anyway. I'm not saying like you quit on the game, but it's like if you're going for it and that happens, like, God damn it, I got to overcome this. You know what I'm saying? It's like your mindset can be a little different. I think you accept bad outcomes better when like your team isn't that good and not going anywhere anyway.
Yeah, and I think certain coaches, because we have everybody's using the same D cards, average, you can do more things in this league than you could in other leagues where you're going to get stuck with those 0s and 4s, and then also have to play with a poor pass defense card. So you're not getting that ding you do in the double counting league. So you have teams like Tim's that won the league last year, and Deb's that won it a couple years ago, where you're like, God, is this really our Super Bowl champion with a couple of 0s starting and a couple of 4s? You can do that in SOMIFA leagues because of the balance of the D cards. So I'm going to go 9-7 for you. I think that you will will yourself to a couple of wins when you need them, but you will have some things to overcome. So we'll go Zeb this time. Zeb, what do you think for the Falcons?
Probably, I'm going to say probably 10-6. I like the depth at running back. Teams aren't going to be able to just call pass and wear out your runners. I mean, they'll wear out J.K. Dobbins, but you still have two other quality guys coming at them. I think offense beats defense. You got issues on defense. I'm going to love it if you put two 6-rated inside linebackers against the run and 2 zeros at defensive end. You'll see a lot of end runs.
Yeah, in Ed's preview, he doesn't even mention Antonio Gibson. We haven't talked about him at all because he's your third pony after Dobbins and Singletary. But Gibson is no slouch as a third running back. He's got some good guess wrong results.
He's better than Singletary, isn't he? Or no?
No, actually, Singletary has a better card according to Ed's formula, the off tackle stuff. Because he's like, I think somebody else mentioned earlier that he's discounting those edge runs. So he's got a little more short gain in the middle and better guess right. So that's why Singletary's ahead of him.
You've got a lot of depth in your secondary this year too, Nathan. I mean, they're mostly 4s, but I look at all the rated guys there.
Like the only spot I've got depth.
Yeah, so you go 3-2-6. You can stick those 4s in there in place of the linebackers and send them on a blitz. You know what I mean?
He'll probably keep LJ Ford on the field though.
Oh yeah, that's true. The 5-6 in the middle, you don't want to take him off the field. But it'll give you something to play with anyway.
Yeah, I think the team defensively is going to play to how I like to play. If I've got to be short manned on D, this is how I want to be short manned.
And I think that's thinking a little bit outside the box because most coaches, when they're starting off or even after they played for a few years, would have started the 4-3 and the 4-2. But I like the idea of giving that little extra pass rush boost to at least try to disrupt things with some heavy blitzing. So that's a good way to do it. All right, Dan, what about you? We'll end with
I got 11 wins. It's a really good offense. That Minshew card is really good. I mean, I just talked about Murray and the guess wrong on short pass. Minshew's guess wrong card on short pass is excellent. His short pass is really good. He's got better pass blocking than I do. He's got a 6 at tackle, a 5 at center, so he gets 2 different areas he can run. The receivers are great. His kicker is great. His punter is excellent. His coverage is really good. It's a low turnover team. So I'd rather have – I mean, he's got all the advantages on special teams and offense, and I'd rather have that in a bad defense if you had to. And like he said, he feels comfortable playing that defense with those ratings. And so
all right. Now, you're talking me into a 10-6, man.
He's going to score a lot of
points. Big point.
So it's going to be 11 wins in my mind.
Okay, I like it. Tom, what do you got?
I think these guys are making me want to have a better prediction as well, a more favorable prediction. So Zerline could try a 59-yard field goal. That's nice.
Yeah.
I would say, hold on a second. I like the depth at running back. Dennis, I didn't rank the league this year the way I always do, the set rather. I had the impression there's not a lot of good running back cards out there. Is that what you guys feel this year or not really?
I think it's a lot more, where you're going to, if you guess right, you can stop people. If you call run, you can stop people a lot easier this set.
Oh, okay, but you feel like there's guess wrong. There's plenty of good running cards out there. You'd say there's not really a scarcity.
I think there is a little bit less, but it's not I wouldn't call it a scarcity.
All right, because I like that he's got plenty of carries that are at least decent. I like to mention his little turnover. I wish he was a little better with the long pass wrong. I think long pass. You know what I'm saying? I think the offense will do well. I like the secondary. I'm a little concerned about some of that front seven. I was going to go 9-7, but you guys are talking me into 10-6. I know he's a good coach. I'll go 10-6.
Very good. All right, on to Dallas. Deb. Oh, and Nathan, can you hit Arizona and Buffalo later when I call on you?
Sure.
All right. So Dallas, talk to us about Derrick Henry and Andy Dalton.
I mean, Andy Dalton looks better to me than Marcus Mariota did last year.
How did you do with Mariota? Remind me of your record.
We wound up 8-8. Mariota was really bad on the flat passes. He was actually probably a little better than Dalton short passing, but it just made it really hard to sustain drives.
Dalton's got one of those maxed out flat pass cards with the picks on 10, but low splits.
Yeah, really low splits. And then if he gets hurt, Cam Newton is pretty much the same thing off the bench with a few more must runs and a few less short passes guessed wrong.
Got it.
But I like that, Dalton's a little bit more of a threat guessed wrong along too. So just keep people from calling a run and flooding the flat pass zones.
Well, what were the negotiations like to get him? I know you had to pay a 3rd round pick, but was there any opening salvos that you tried to get him a little cheaper?
No. I don't really try to I don't make a lot of deals, and people that have dealt with me, I don't usually try to, bargain too much. If Dan said he thought he was worth a 3rd round pick, and I didn't jump on it right away. I told Dan I'm going to think about it, but that if I do it, I'm not going to quibble with him over the price, and I didn't.
Fair enough.
But I was, there were some things I could have done with that 3rd round pick, and there's, as Tom says, a lot of quarterbacks hitting the league next year, including probably Jordan Love will be out of that mix too, on top of all the guys who got drafted. So, I think, roll with Dalton this year and see what happens next year.
Fair enough. So what about the star of the show, Derrick Henry? This is the number 1 halfback card in the set. So,
well, it depends how you rate him. I mean, Ed has Gus Edwards rated higher, and I like Gus's card better in terms of the consistent gains. He's got those short gains right in the center, but Henry has more yards overall on his card, and Henry has about double the carries per game. So, when you throw that all in, I would take Derrick Henry hands down. Again, this is going to be a low turnover offense. People are going to have to call pass to get those interceptions in Andy Dalton, and I think last year I was about 40% guess run against me, so it should probably be about the same this year.
I think it's good. It's good that Henry has all those carries. I would hate to see you have to resort to your backup running back.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, Dalvin Cook.
That's like
I'm not going to run the carries anytime soon.
That's like Tim winning the Super Bowl with his backup quarterback last year. It just happened to be Patrick Mahomes.
Well, Tim and I should have brought this up. We actually talked. I made Tim an over-the-top offer this year for Derek Mahomes or Patrick Mahomes.
Oh, really?
Which I knew he wasn't going to take.
What did you offer?
Yeah, what was it?
I'd have to pull up the email, but so Tim posted on the forum that he was looking for a running back, a linebacker, defense. He had a list of things he said he was looking for, in the SOMIFA trade thread, and I sent him an email and said that I had some one-stop shopping, and it just happened to be I looked at my roster and I had one of all of these players on my roster, and I offered him at Marlon Humphrey, his choice of Derrick Henry or Dalvin Cook. Let's see.
1st round.
Jonathan Allen. What else did he need? I think he needed a linebacker, so I offered him a pick of one of my linebackers and a 1st round pick, something like that. 4 quality players in a 1st round pick.
Wow.
You got to throw in next year's number 1 to get it thinking about it.
And he said he wasn't even going to send me a counter offer because he was afraid I would take him up on it.
Well, that just shows you. Both those guys are going to spend their entire careers on Tim's roster in all likelihood. Because that's about as good as an offer you're going to get.
Yeah.
What are you going to do? Derrick Henry, Marlon Humphrey, Jonathan Allen, who's playing defensive tackle now, right?
Yeah.
Jayon Brown or
a 1st round pick.
Jack.
And this is probably before Miles Jack trade, right? Is that no?
Yes. It was before the Miles Jack trade. And I think I threw the backup tackle from the Steelers in there too because he needed a tackle.
Holy shit!
Oh, Chukwuma Okafor.
Zeb should have thrown in the one next year. He'd have gone for it.
I don't know. No, he said he liked the offer. I think he said it was the best offer he's got in 4 years, but he would not be able to look himself in the mirror if he'd accepted it.
Hey Zeb, that's not 5 first-round picks, so you were short.
That's right.
Well, he's always said he wanted Jalen Ramsey, and I don't have Ramsey, but I did have a 6-rated corner, so I figured it was worth a shot.
Yeah, Marlon Humphrey's pretty good.
Anyways, actually on offense, I think it's going to be pretty much the same as it was last year. I tried to get Glenn Guzzo to work in a new formation where I could play 2 centers at the same time. Glenn shot that down. So, we're a little our run blocking is going to be a little weaker. We'll be playing a 3. Last year I had a 0-rated nose tackle. So I've got Jonathan Allen back, or Brandon Williams nose this year, so that's going to be nice. Brian Burns coming on as a 4-10 will be nice at defensive end. I was 8-8 last year, so I'll say, maybe I think it should be a better team this year. So 9-7.
All right, I like that. Tom, what do you think?
I'll go 10-6 just because Zeb always does such a great job. The Henry card is a little chunky, but Zeb, it's not like horribly chunky. Defense has got enough strength to it, and Zeb's such a great coach. I'm gonna have to start deducting some losses from some guys. Probably over. I don't know if I'm always shooting everyone who's present. I was beating up the guys who weren't here. Who knows? But I'll go 10-6 with a lot of respect for Zeb's coaching.
Yeah, I'm gonna stick with that as well. I think that flat pass Dalton's card with the Henry's running and coming up with the big plays. That's a decent combo. There's plenty of pass rush on that team, so I go with 10-6 as well. Nathan, what do you got?
I'm actually going to go 9-7, and kind of for the same reasons you guys are saying, but more as a negative. Dalton is only really worth anything to me on the flats. And that is one of those types of teams where you're going to face a lot of those flooded flat zones and run calls. And you're not just facing pass calls with blitzes, you know what I mean? I hate having that kind of an offense personally and having to deal with that. And I love playing against them, not usually when it's the quality of Derrick Henry, but just that style of offense. What I do like, though, is the receivers you picked up, because I was kind of looking at them. Those might swing it. I could see those guys swinging it for you for another couple wins with the guessed wrong yardage they've got on their short pass. If you're throwing to, I don't know, I guess it'd be Guyton would be your main big play guy.
And Peoples-Jones.
And Peoples-Jones is got 2. I just don't know which of those 3, which 2 start. Tight ends I don't think are real great on the shorts anyway. So I would assume. And are you going to play a 3-4 defense?
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. I like that.
One comment on that Henry card. One thing I don't like about it is they put he had a 94-yard run. They put it on his line buck, which is my favorite column, and that basically sucked a lot of juice out of the center of it. So I probably will be mixing it up and hitting, all the zones more equally than I have in the past.
If you have that double center, you could have line buck left and line buck right.
Yeah,
that's right.
And I may wind up using Mo Alley Cox more than I had thought, because he's got that 6 run block is nice, and he can go 45 yards. He's not uncapped, but a little bit longer than the other tight ends.
Is Henry? Last year, Henry was pretty decent M run also, right? Because a couple of years ago, Strat was, I think, carting him more of a linebacker off tackle guy. But to see that his M run column wrong, I know you got the 0 yards and 7, but it's got a lot of juice with the 9 long gain and stuff like that.
Yeah, his M run was decent last year. It was just that if you guessed him right, he had a couple of big losses.
Okay,
like it was -8. Actually, last year his longest run was on the off tackle, so his off tackle was kind of, unless you hit his 90-yarder, his off tackle was kind of really weak.
It was nerfed.
Yeah.
You got to trade one of those centers.
And as far as what Nathan's saying, if people call run and flood the flat pass zones, the plan is exactly what you're saying. Identify who's got the weakest defender on him. Find a 0 or 4 if possible, and just throw short passes to that guy.
Yeah.
Nathan, you talked about the centers. I don't know how exhaustively Zeb looked at this, but I was looking when I was considering trading Roddy Hudson. There's only like one team that like is kind of competitive and needs a center where it would be like a decent upgrade, So there's only like no market for like the center to trade a center right now.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I talked a little bit, but never. I'm okay hanging on to Jason Kelce still.
Right. That makes sense.
Market's changed from year to year anyway.
Dan, let's get your record prediction to close off the Cowboys.
Yeah, sure. I just want everybody to know about 4 or 5 years ago, I traded Jason Kelce because he had a bad year and I thought he was done and too old. So it shows you what I know. I'm going back and forth between 9 wins and 10 wins. And the reason Nathan kind of kicked me to 10, actually, because I looked at the receivers intuitively and said, they're not good. But then I looked at the cards after Nathan said that, and it's exactly what Zeb said. I mean, that he's got 2 5s at tackle. So, and if he plays Mo Alley Cox in that 6, that off tackle is probably the best column on Derrick Henry's card, in my opinion. Doesn't have the 94, but it has only, I think, 4 and 5 less than 4 yards, and it has a ton of big gains. The flat pass is good. And for most coaches, unlike the top tier coaches, once you hit a receiver for a couple of those 18, 19 yard or 20 yard gains, guess wrong, short pass, they panic and they start calling pass more because that's a big chunk yardage. And that's just going to open up his running game with that run blocking. So I got to go 10. And his defense, like Tom said, he's got enough 5s and 6s in certain places where you can just leave them alone and you can compensate for those other areas where you don't have the 5 and 6s with just like a core set of 3 or 4 calls, no matter who you're playing, and just let the dice play into your defense. So I'm going to go 10 after I was going to go 9 because Nathan brought up the receivers after I looked at them.
And I do love having Gunnar Olszewski on my team as a 10th round pickup last year.
Yeah.
Sweet punt return card.
Very nice. Good point. I didn't look at that, but the punt returner for. Let's take a quick look at that. Yep.
With Dalton and those receivers, you're going to have some of those games where you're way up there in scores, and some of those games where you're way down.
Yep.
It's just inconsistency is all it is.
Yep.
Yeah, and I think it works in Dalton's favor that so he starts throwing those short passes, gets wrong, gets some big hits. They start calling pass. He gets some dump offs on Dalton's flat pass card. So we'll see how it works out.
Definitely a bonus. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at that Derrick Henry, I mean, his guess wrong off tackle is his best column, but I mean, Zeb likes to do line bucks and he's got a 6 there. And if you look at Derrick Henry right, it's 9-6, -1, 0, 4, 0, 2, 3 short gain. So even if you guess run, he has a great opportunity to gain yards either on his card or the D's card.
All right. So, Zeb, you pick up Cincinnati and Denver when I come back to you.
Roger that.
So we'll do the last team here of the people that are present. That's my team. Ed has me with the best rating, 87. I like that. My pass rush and blocking is middle of the pack at 16th with only 50 points. And then this is the big problem with my team, is that I don't have anybody that has over 100 carries. And I've tried, I can't really do anything in the trade market, which is unusual for me. I've already spent all my ammo, but I've got 3 guys that have between 50 and 100 carries, which sounds good in practice, but in actuality, you can, because we have our rules of unlimited in 1/2, I'm going to have to be like, okay, let's say Mark Ingram's unlimited in the first half, and then say Burkhead and Alfred Morris for the second half. That means I'm going to run out of carries in 1/2. So that's going to be a problem. Besides that, I like my pass blocking, 3 7s. I don't know why I only got middle of the pack with my ratings and my run and pass block, because I think it's a little better than that, but I'll have to go back and check the math. Hold on 1 second, guys. I got to go check something. So
That's why it's good to be on the East Coast. Nothing's going to happen at 1:22 in the morning.
His house is on fire.
Russell Wilson's visiting him.
Oh, yeah. Maybe there's an injury update.
Hey, by the way, while he's gone, did you guys watch the Peyton and Eli Monday Night Football broadcast?
I saw some of those highlights.
I just saw the highlights. I didn't even know about it until after people started talking about it. But it looked pretty good and funny and entertaining.
Oh, it's friggin' outstanding. Peyton Manning is hilarious. I mean, Russell Wilson joined him to talk about it. And, Peyton's just so self-deprecating and funny. And they actually, rather than watch the normal broadcast, they're actually a little bit critical. They're like, why'd you do that? Why'd you do this? You should do this. And they think like Romo does, they think like quarterbacks while they're watching it. And it's just, it's fun to watch. And you guys ought to check it out. I don't think I'm going to watch the regular broadcast again.
Where's that?
ESPN2.
Yeah.
Some of the clips there. Some of the clips of it are on YouTube. So you can watch the clips and or Twitter. And I'd read about one of the comments and I sorted out because I thought it was so funny. But they had a few guest stars pop on at different times. And Ray Lewis came on at one point. As two of them talking to Ray Lewis. And Eli told a story. He said it was his rookie year. It was maybe his third start in the NFL. Okay. I think he started on the bench. I think they had Kurt Warner that year. And it was his third start. And he said the Ravens were real good. He said to Ray Lewis, you guys are real good with you and Ed Reed. And, I guess they probably had Terrell Suggs and stuff like that. And Eli comes to the line of scrimmage and he calls out. He looks at Ray and he goes, 52's the mic. 52's the mic. And Ray Lewis goes, no, I'm not the mic. He's the mic. Pointing to the other linebacker. And then Eli says, I looked at him. I thought, Ray's right. The other guy is the mic, And then Ed Reed goes, hey, can I be the mic? and then Peyton says to Eli, Eli says, what was your passer rating at the end of that game? And Eli goes, 0.0. And Peyton goes, that's hard to do. It was really good.
Yeah, you got to watch it. It's friggin' hilarious.
Yeah.
And also, they get pretty elaborate with some of the stuff when they want to do real football. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, they know what they're doing. They know what they're talking about. I totally forgot about it, but I did watch some of the clips on YouTube. It was very fun. Good listen. What were you gonna say, Dan?
No, I was gonna say Manning had this funny comment there when Carr did a quarterback sneak at the goal line. I mean, the self-deprecation that Manning has. Manning goes, I'd do that quarterback sneak again. And Eli said, you hated quarterback sneaks. And Peyton said, yeah, I did hate him. He goes, I probably should have done more of them because all I would have had to do is stick my long neck out and I would have got first downs even on 4th and 2. So it was really funny.
All right. Well, back to my team. I don't have a lot of pass rush. That's the only thing that I don't like. That it's going to cause me problems. I like the ratings. I like the quarterback, even though I think he's, they never give him a good deep passing card. I swear, just once, give him a long gain on 8.
You like the quarterback over there?
I do like the quarterback. I just wish Strat would recognize that he's a good deep passer instead of the must runs ruling everything.
Well, what's he got on his deep card?
Well, it's a typical 5 or 11 is where they usually put it, and that's some 5 with a plus 30 on 10. I just,
how many units does he have? How many units do you want to know?
How many what?
Units. If there's 5 and 10, that's 7 units.
He's 11 wrong, and he's
never at the top deep
11 wrong. That's not good.
He's just okay. He's never great on a deep passing guard.
You sound like Seahawk fans up here.
Say it again.
You sound like the Seahawk fans up where I live.
But he's 7'11". Just once I would like him to get like a one of these 814 cards or 815 cards.
But even this is worse than usual because normally he's got 12 or 13, doesn't he?
He's gotten 12 before, but he's never gotten gotten
13. Ever 13?
There's always a better long pass guy in the set.
Well, Yeah, well, we understand that, but I thought he got 13 at least once. No.
Last year he had 13, first time.
Okay.
Complaining about the wrong thing. He's got 18 combos on a short pass wrong. That's fucking
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Yeah, that is ridiculous. So and this was the first time they kind of screwed him on that, but
That's what you should be complaining about. And
I did, and I did. I know. The long passes, I've done that too many times, but I did. I wrote it up. There's like 21 people that have a better short pass wrong card than Russell Wilson.
Well, what was that run ratio like? There was a team that could be part of the issue there.
It could be. But anyway, it's good enough to be a top 10 card. I think Ed has it at 6 in the SOMIFA rankings. Where is it? So it's, 6. And Tom, if you've done your rankings, I'm sure it's top 10 on your rankings as well. So,
I have not done any rankings this year.
Okay.
I need to issue a correction, Dennis. You said you didn't understand why Ed had you where he did in the blocking ratings because you run blocking. That is not a blocking column. That is a pass rush and pass blocking column. I believe I could be wrong. I believe your run blocking is added in with the ratings in that first ratings column is not just your defense. I think it's your run block also. I could be wrong. I think it's run block also. I think the pass rush / pass blocking is pass rush and pass blocking. I could be wrong.
Got it. Fair enough. Okay. So that makes more sense. So let's just cut to the chase here. I think my team's good enough to go like 12-4. It's not the best team I've had. I think I'm going to have problems with the carries, but I think I'll figure out a way to overcome it. And I plan to go 3-1 each set to get there.
Can I ask you to really quickly read off your defensive ratings?
Sure. The actual numbers.
Like defensive line 5-5.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm going 4-3. Oh, hold on one thing. I am.
If you want a 4-3, 5-5-5, you're in trouble. Okay. There you go.
5-5-5-6 on a 4-3. 5-5-4 of the linebackers, and then 2 6s and 2 5s in the secondary.
What do you got for starting pass rush there on the defensive line?
6-2-2-4.
Okay.
So dump off City.
Seahawks where he just blitzes his safety, and that's the only pass rusher.
Pretty much.
Except for his guys actually are studs in coverage.
Yeah.
Well, unfortunately, we can't talk about the Seahawks game today.
Okay.
Thanks, Zeb.
Yeah, Zeb doesn't know the results. So,
are you going to watch these games, and by what means? How are you going to watch them on the NFL.com thing, or?
Yeah, Game Pass.
Okay.
30 minutes or less, 40 minutes or less. So
you're excused.
All right. So tell me what you guys think. Tom, you can hit me.
Anything spicy on special teams, Dennis?
Yes,
he's good. He's really good on special teams.
Yeah.
What do you got? Good returner?
Yeah, 98. His kick return. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Dennis.
No. Tell me. It's
He's got a great kick return one. He's got a CeeDee Lamb's okay in the middle. He's got his kicker's excellent. His punter's really good. His coverage on his kickoff return coverage is got a long gain. His punt return's good. So he's safe on special teams.
Dennis, no Jamal Agnew.
I'm something's messed up with this file though, because I have. Here he is. There he is. I was looking at the wrong guy. No Jamal Agnew on this team.
Okay, I just want to.
Trenton Cannon.
It's that joke.
Yeah, Cannon is the guy.
Okay. Let's see. I mean, Dennis, you got a really good defense. You got Russell Wilson. Your 3 back. I'm sitting here looking at the Giants team. Your 3. Tell me, you got Ingram and who are the 2 guys again?
Ingram has 72 carries. Burkhead has like 67, and Alfred Morris has 55.
That Alfred Morris card's pretty good. I'll go 12-4 also. Russell's still good. You obviously know what you're doing. You'll make it work the running game. The defense is real good, and you just know how to coach it, Dennis. So I'll give you 12-4.
All right, Dan, hit me up.
Yeah, I would. I can't. I hate to sound like a broken record, but 12-4 also. I think that DJ Dallas card. I think when you get to 3rd and 4th downs, really short, or 2nd and short, or inside the goal line, that type of stuff. I think you're going to use that to save some carries. Your receivers are good. I mean, your run blocking's good. Your defense, you've got that 5 on nickel. Yeah, this is without pass rush though. You're going to be able to make it work. I got 12.
Yeah, maybe I should have been trading for Everson Griffin. So
Yeah.
Everson Griffin. All right, Zeb, what do you got?
I think I'm going to be a little less optimistic just because of the running back situation. And to be fair, just so everybody else knows, Dennis did make a brief inquiry about Dalvin Cook, but we never really got into any lengthy discussion.
Well, I didn't have the ammo, so no second, no third round pick. Can't trade my first, so it's a non-starter.
Yeah, well, I didn't even think. I mean, just sitting here looking at your roster, and I'm not. It's too late for me to be making offers now, but I should have thrown. Seen what you thought about Tyreek Hill for Dalvin Cook, something like that.
Gotcha.
Because I needed receivers, and he would have really fit on my team.
Dennis would have gone for that in a heartbeat, I think.
Well, I
don't think it's too late to trade, is it? Is the trading deadline passed?
No, I think he's saying it's too late because he went a different way drafting.
Yeah, I mean, it takes a lot for me to make a trade at this point because I'm pretty much set on my team.
Well, everybody in SOMIFA, if you have a running back that you're willing to trade, let me know before the trading deadline.
Well, I'm glad to hear that, Zeb, because we don't need Dalvin Cook on Dennis's team.
You want Frank, Dennis?
Yeah, I would take him back. I probably would take him back.
Yeah,
that's how bad things are.
Better than I would.
That's how bad things are.
Yeah.
After I badmouth, I want him back.
Anyways, I like the rest of the team. You guys have done a good job of, pointing out the few weaknesses. But man, Russell Wilson's gonna be guessed right a lot because of your running back situation until the second half when you can bring Alfred Morris in, and then once he runs out of carries, you can still use him for a few extra carries once he's fatigued. And I'm gonna have to mix it up. And so like on third downs, I'll bring in the second guy in the first half. When I can. And somebody with a good card like Morris, even at the first couple levels of fatigue, it's not that debilitating to use him. And sometimes it's even better because people will just automatically stop guessing run. You can rip off some easy short gain -1 yard is still a pretty good play.
So what are you gonna do? The two, and you're gonna do 2 of them in the second half, or 1 of them in the first half? What are you gonna do? Yeah, 1 in the first half, and then use the other 2 guys where I can in the first half to take some of the load off, like when it's legal to run them 3rd and 5 or less or whatever. Do you do Morris in the first half and the other 2 in the second? I think I'm gonna go Ingram because he has the most carries in the first half, and then the other 2 in the second. All right. Sorry for cutting you off, Zeb.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm gonna throw out 10 and 6.
Yeah. And Nathan, what do you got?
I was looking at your schedule. You definitely don't have very many favorable. You don't have some of the weakest teams I would consider on your schedule. You have like 1 of them, which is not good. And you've got the two other toughest teams. I have you as one of the top 3 teams. Just kind of looking over the roster. I feel like Russell Wilson's going to be the most frustrating quarterback, both to you and to the defense, because his guessed right column is on the short passes pretty much the same as his guessed wrong one. With those must runs on there, pretty much equals out to about the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
I hate that you don't have the running carries, and I know you like to run a lot, but I think if you've got to have a guy where you got to pass a little more with, it actually is a good complement with the must runs and the really good guessed right. Because usually you're a very balanced, lots of runs, and probably more than 50% of the time, right?
Yeah, definitely.
I'm going to go 13. I'm going to go 12 and 4. I was going to go 13 and 3. I don't like your schedule as much just because you don't have anyone real easy. You're like one guy that looks real.
Now I'm scared. I'm going to go 11 and 5. I'm going to have one quarter where I mess up.
I just don't know how you're going to play with it because it's not what you normally are. You're successful with just about every team, but they all have running backs, it seems like. And even if they don't have a lot of carries, they at least are good cards. And this is not necessarily one of those types of situations.
This is a team that really could use Latavius Murray still.
But the rest of the team is
Should
awesome.
never trade him. Yeah.
I like how Dennis says I'm going to have one quarter where I screw up, and that means 2-2.
Hey, all right. So let's go back and hit. We've done all the teams of everybody here. Let's go back and hit them. Tom, why don't you start us off with the Steelers?
I think I need to start us over the Giants, and I don't the Steelers.
Okay, perfect. Giants sounds good.
I'll do Giants, and Dan
I'll
can
do
do
the
one.
Niners.
Okay, let me bring them up again. Give me a moment.
So just while Tom's doing that, the Giants on Ed's thing has the 13th in the rating, 76 points, so 13th overall. Justin Herbert is their quarterback. Gallman and Jeff Wilson are the running backs.
All right, I'm ready.
Go for it.
All right, so the New York Giants, I think it's the third year in a row that Joe drafted a quarterback in the first round. You got Mitchell Trubisky, now third string, Daniel Jones, second string, and it looks like he got it right this time. Justin Herbert coming in at number 6 overall. No, we're at number 1 overall in the draft, and I think number 6 overall in Ed's rankings, which surprised me. He's got a pretty good card. I thought it'd be a little better for number 6 overall in the rankings. The deception is very low. Let me bring him up again. Hold on.
That short pass wrong card, man. Nice.
He's no Russell Wilson.
That's for sure. Luckily for him.
Yeah, the 4, 9, 15, 19, 22, 23 minutes of short pass wrong. And that is a big differentiator in the modern game because so many of the good quarterbacks, like Dan was saying, are really good flat, and a lot of guys are like at least like 6'12" deep or something like that you can still use. That 11 for Russell Wilson is ridiculous. But a lot of guys only have 18, 19 short pass wrong units. So you pumped up that if it's nice. But 5'11", 13 short pass right, 7 units of must run, which is only okay for him. He does go 8, 9, 12 deep. If you watched him last year, he was really good with the bomb. Justin Herbert. They also, I think, of the running game over there in Strap probably. So he's pretty good. I wouldn't say he's great. I don't feel like this guy's going to dominate. The 8-12 is good, but it's good. I'm used to using my voice for the clicking. This is a different clicking. It's just so weird to me. He's got a pretty good interior offensive line. You can't go by the. I got to click up to him now. Hold on a second, Dennis. I was on Pittsburgh, and everything takes long with this system. Offensive line.
Yeah, he goes 4-3, 6-4, 5-4.
No, the computer guy is wrong. He's got a 6'7" left tackle. He's got a 6'4".
Right.
He's got a 6'7" left tackle. He's got a 6'4" at guard, a 5'4" at guard, and a 5 at center. I'm not sure what's at the other tackle. It doesn't look like anybody too good. So he's got nice interior blocking. With Wayne Gallman's got a pretty good card. Jeff Wilson's got a pretty decent card, including 6 short game right and wrong. They're very good raw on both of those cards. So if you're going to sit there and just pass, Joe's going to make you pay on the ground, and Joe doesn't mind running the ball. And I like that interior blocking, certainly. His receivers are interesting because Rashad Perriman's got a lot of yardage. Nathan would love to have him as his third receiver. He's one of the top 2 in the spreadsheet for Joe, so he can't be a third receiver. He's 12, 18 deep. I think only 16, 22 short, but the yardage is nice. And then he's got T. Higgins, who's a little more kind of standard. I think he's only 9, 15 deep, but 19, 26 short. He's got Curtis Samuel, who's 9, 15 deep, does not have good yardage, but he's really good flat. So he can also play halfback. He's not that good running it off tackle and running. He had one big run last year. It kind of killed the card. But he's got some flexibility there with his receivers. If he wants to go more possession, Samuel could be in there. Or if he wants to have more of a downfield threat, Perriman could be in there. If he goes 3 wide, T. Higgins is the third receiver. So that's not bad. O.J. Howard, nothing special at tight end, but he's not awful. Tyler Eifert might even be 1926 on short pass with low yardage. Let me bring up the defense again. Hold on.
You don't want to look.
Yeah, it's ugly.
I looked before, so I'm re-looking. So the offense looks like it's pretty decent. I think those 2 running backs will do well against a lot of people who don't know better. Those guards, the defense is 4-3. The defense is in trouble. Goes 5-4-4-4 on the defensive line. with no pass rush to be found. Dexter Lawrence, not known as a pass rusher, is your number one pass rusher with a 5 rating. And he plays a 4-3. And Matt Milano, the Chiefs, stands alone 0-0-5. Got Andrew Van Ginkel hopefully coming on, Dennis. But otherwise, not looking too good there. The secondary, he's got
5-5-4-4.
Yeah, 5-5-4-4. So that's not great. At least got an extra 4. So that defense is really going to struggle mightily. Joe is a really good coach. The offense looks pretty strong. So I'm going to go. I've been generous to everyone, so I'll ding him slightly. I'll go 6-10 for this team because I think that 4-3 defense with all those type of ratings, that's just really, really hard to do. You know.
Yeah, and I think that when you have it in the 4-3, it's harder to coach around. So
Yeah.
I'll go 5-11, and I think that Joe's going to like proving me wrong because I have a feeling he could definitely do like a 7-9, but I'm going to go 5-11 to inspire my man Jersey Joe. So Nathan, what do you got?
That's so generous of you, Dennis. I think I'm not gonna inspire anything. I'm just gonna say 6-10 because the defense is basically. I do like the offense. I like the running backs, quarterback. That actually would be fun offense to play with, where you're basically you're going to get a lot of wrong calls both ways, and they're both good. But yeah, the defense is just too much, especially if it's a 4-3. Then that's going to really be tough to defend anything.
Got it. Zeb, what you got?
Well, I'm not sure he's going to go 4-3. He hasn't announced anything yet. And I mean, if I'm sitting there looking at this pile of garbage, I might just go 3-4 and
I would
0-rated nose tackle and have that extra linebacker. So either way, it's going to be tough.
Yeah, if you do go 3-4, Joe, Adam Butler should be your starter because he'll be a 0-5 is better than a 0-3.
That's right. Yeah, even the offense is not that exciting to me. The receivers.
Curtis Samuel can run in certain situations, but it's not that great of a running guard.
Where did Ed have his receivers ranked? I 4.0. Yeah. Running backs they're not household names. They're probably better than people think, but they don't have a lot of carries. 7-9.
All right.
Out of respect for Joe.
And Dan, what do you got?
5-11.
And it's kind of funny for me to look at this team because there's certain guys that, like, whenever they're in a different league and they draft, I'll look at the draft and see who they picked. And for me, like in the last few years, Joe is one guy who I've sort of been watching to see who he likes. And most of his teams seem pretty strong top to bottom. So it's a little surprising for me to see this team so bereft of talent.
Well, he was rebuilding at some point, and he was certainly trading off a lot of guys this year, so I know he's not planning to win. Joe is one of those guys you talked earlier about if a guy's going for it or not going for it, where, like, Joe is always gives you a good game, and, like, usually has a very solid team. But, but if Joe's like 4-8, it's the last quarter, probably, he's not going to have the intensity. He's still going to play to win because, that's the way he is. He's not got the intensity that I think play in, play out that he might have if he was, 9-5 or something like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and it also, I guess I've got to look at this way. On a lot of other teams, he's had more picks to spend on the rest of his team. Here, he's invested significant resources in the quarterback position. Where those if he had hit, say, on Mitchell Trubisky 3 years ago, he wouldn't have been picking Daniel Jones and Justin Herbert. He would have a couple more sixes on his defense or on his offensive line.
All right, so I'm going to jump in and we'll talk about the Niners real quick. Of course, speaking about coaching to win, Ed is always outperforming his expectations. I think you always, even when he has a team that's a little bit lower than what you expect, he seems to come through. His quarterback, he's got he's got Teddy Bridgewater and Baker Mayfield.
Who do you expect him to start?
I expect him to start Bridgewater. He has him higher on his quarterback rankings, I believe. So
that's Longshot's favorite guy, right?
Yeah, exactly. The play it safe coach. So I guess they're pretty. Well, where's Baker? Well, I don't see. Okay, here he is. So he's a couple spots ahead of Baker. Maybe he'll have games where he'll want to use Baker Mayfield based on their matchup, but I think you're going to see mostly Bridgewater. He's got Cam Akers, who, despite his statistics, has a less than exciting card. Is not quite J.K. Dobbins, but he's good guess wrong, and Ed's very good at sticking with the run. Chase Edmonds is his other back that will see significant carries, and his card is better guess right. So, in key situations, he'll be the guy who gets the ball. Devontae Adams is one of the best receivers in the set. Gronk still has a solid card. Logan Thomas is okay. He's got 2 7s on the offensive line, all 5s and 6s running the ball. So, he's going to run it. Even if you guess right, he'll pick up some yards on the D card. On defense, I expect him to run a 3-4 with Chris Jones as a 5'9" nose tackle. He also has a good pass rusher at one spot in D'Amico Autry. He's got 2 good pass rushing linebackers in Jason Pierre-Paul and TJ Watt, and a strong safety. Buda Baker's a 6. Everybody else is a 4, though. So that could be some matchup issues, but when he brings those pass rushers, it might be less of an issue. So let's look at his special teams. Ed gave himself a 4 special teams. So that means he doesn't have anybody there that's going to scare you. But it's Ed. And I think Ed's going to do what Ed does. And I think he's going to be double digits for sure. I'll give him 11 wins. I'll go 11-5 for that team. Despite
by the way, I
lower range quarterback.
By the way, I updated the year-by-year coaching file, and last year at 7-9 was Ed's first losing season since the first year of the league, like 18 years ago, whatever, when he went 7-9.
So it's a bounce-back season, in my opinion. Tom, what do you got for Ed?
I'll go around the horn. I'm catching up a little on Ed's team.
Okay, Nathan, what do you got?
I actually like the defense just fine. Some of the things you were talking about with you get some pass rushers and you get like either some corners that can cover okay, or you get like a safety you can play as a free safety 6 that you can blitz a lot or just leave back there. You're trying to make him guess, and that's how I played with my S28 team. I had 1 6 back there and played on a free safety, and it was actually really fun defense to use. I like his defense. Cam Akers isn't spectacular, but at least he can run all 3 zones pretty much equally, which is a pain in the ass if you can't. Bridgewater, not real great. He's another one of those guys that he's a flat pass guy, and the rest of the stuff, he's useful with some must runs in certain situations. I think that I'm going to go 10-6 on that. I don't like Bridgewater, and the running game isn't real strong.
Right. Ed has himself 5th with the ratings. So you're right. The defensive ratings are there. They're up there. But I think Bridgewater, I agree, is going to hold him back a little bit.
I'm ready when you're ready, Dennis.
Okay, Tom, what you got?
I'll go 11-5 for this team. Obviously, a world of respect for Ed's coaching ability. You're surprised when he's not at least 11-5. Even 10-6 seems like an off year for him. I think with that run blocking all across the front, including a tight end if he wants, I think the running game will do better than people are predicting. I think defensively he'll do well. Those linebackers are good. TJ Watt, of course, we know what he can do. I'm not used to Ed doing a lot of free safety blitzing and stuff like that. You look at what he's got here with D'Amico Autry and Chris Jones as 9s and TJ Watt is at 12 with an asterisk and JPP is at 11. Like, you want to see Dan or Nathan coaching this defense in terms of the sacks, but Ed's a great defensive coach, so he does it differently, but it'll still work out for him. So, yeah, I think he'll do well. I think the team might overachieve. Wouldn't be surprised at 12-4. I'll go with 11-5 for now, though. I think the league is a tougher league, top to bottom, than maybe it was 10 years ago or something. Who knows?
Yeah, it's shaping up to be like a SSFA this year, where a lot of teams are in the mix. So, Zeb, what do you got?
Man, I loved him picking Michael Onwenu in the second round.
A great pick.
That kind of broke my heart. I took him in the first round in S28. I expect, like you say, Bridgewater's probably the starter. He's actually got a lot of carries because he's got Chase Edmonds, Matt Breida, and Samaj Pirine.
Yeah,
those last three guys are all 50 to 100. Breida and Edmonds both had a couple of fumbles, and I think Ed will probably use them last, just so he can. He always seems to be a super low turnover on offense. I think Pirine's his primary is a solid number 2 back, and he'll sprinkle the other guys in as needed. But I mean, he can run all day on you if you sit and call pass on him. Bridgewater's not exciting. Corey Davis is a nice downfield threat. I think he's going to have a lot of low-scoring games, and I think he's going to win almost all of them. I'm going to go. I love his run blocking. I'm going to say 15-1.
Wow, Zeb with the gauntlet.
Whoa!
Well, I'm throwing that down because I want to see if I can motivate him to improve on my prediction.
I like it. All right, Dan, what do you got?
I'm gonna go 12-4. Ed's been getting a lot more sacks lately. I think he was in the top 3 with Tom and me and SSFA. And he free safety blitzed a lot with that team, but he didn't have the pass rush rating, so he may go a little bit more conservative with this defense. And I think he's actually better when he's conservative on defense, and he likes low turnover offense, and that's what he's going to do. He's going to run the ball, and he's got very good line. Plays good D. I'll go 12.
Nice.
Change mine to 11. I don't want to do 10.
All right.
I also like
what did Nathan choose?
11-5.
It went from 10-6 to 11-5.
All right, and Zeb, what did you just say? I'm sorry.
Well, a kind of a sneaky pickup that he made a 6th round pick, Farrell Brown. He took in a draft, who can actually play a blocking back as a 5 rated blocking back, which is there's not many guys now who actually get a rating at blocking back. So he'll be able to mix it up, and he won't necessarily have to go with that 2 tight end offense either.
And he had a good first game of the NFL season. Zeb, I won't spoil anything by telling you how well he performed today.
Okay.
Plus, I'd have to Google it because he's not on any of my teams.
I know how he performed. That looked.
Okay.
All right, well, let's keep it on the down low. All right, so we're going to go to Nathan next. Talk about the Arizona Cardinals.
Oh, boy. Okay. Arizona. Well, he's not looking real good at quarterback. What has he got those guys ranked at?
He has them ranked as the 34th quarterback in Flacco.
So Flacco's the starter? Okay.
Yeah.
Who I traded him? Or no, maybe I traded him in a different league.
I've got a question to interrupt here. Dennis, you managed the draft list for Bob Ojak, who's the Arizona coach.
Yes.
Did he mention at all to you any interest in a quarterback, or he was like diehard for Chase Young, number 2?
He didn't even list Burrow on his draft sheet. It was Herbert and then Chase Young. So
maybe anticipate. I can't say. Okay, interesting. Okay,
could be anti-Bengal.
I'll get one next year.
Yeah, he should be back in the mix. I'm selecting him, I think.
Sorry.
All right.
I didn't mean that in a bad way. There's a lot of quarterbacks this year. Go ahead, Nathan. Continue with your review.
Thanks, Tom. All right. Yeah, I mean, Alvin Kamara is nice to have. He's got a really nice card. But, I mean, with Flacco, it's just going to be brutal. And a receiver, nothing really impressive, I don't think. I haven't really looked at those cards too closely, but nothing stands out as from the receivers or the tight ends. Maybe you guys know some of these a little better than I do.
No, I mean, Hilton's a step down from what he usually is, but he still has decent hits and some yardage. but that's probably his best receiver. Edelman is on his way out, and he just has no yardage, can't go deep that well. But actually, it's not as bad as I thought. So his receivers are okay.
I mean, there's not. Let's put it this way: if you're a team like that's not real strong passing, or you're having a hard time getting people to guess pass, like when I was talking about Dallas's team, obviously, he's a lot better than this. But the nice thing is those receivers matched up well. You get guys that can make big plays. If you're not going to consistently move the ball, you want to at least be able to get big plays, and I don't see that happening here. So
That's Chris.
The one-man show this play.
Chris Banjo was not his second-round pick, was he?
No, 6th-round pick, I think, or 7th round.
Okay.
7th round.
All right, good. I know. All right, good.
His O-line is actually pretty good. That's probably the best part. Had a couple 7s, 6 of 5. They're all decent to good. So that'll be helpful, especially with Kamara. His D-line isn't horrible, although at least at the end. I don't know if he's going to run a 4-3 or a.
He's got to run a 4-3. I think he's got 2 4 defensive tackles, but
his middle guy is a 4-0, and I don't know. This is definitely a defense that's going to be. Amos at free safety as a 6. That's the best thing you can have if your defense is going to struggle, is to have a guy like that you can move around and protect yourself a little bit deep, because everything else is 4s and 0s, and if anyone runs 3 receivers against you, which with so many flat passing quarterbacks, he's bound to see a lot of that. Having a 0 at DT and a 4 at middle linebacker is a horrible proposition. I definitely have this as one of the lower teams this year without the quarterback. I'm going to say 2-14.
Very good. I'll jump in and say 4-12. I think that he'll get some dump offs. Kamara can do some things just right, and he'll do well against some of the other lower teams. So, Zeb, what do you got?
I like Kamara, but I don't see that he's going to be. I think he's going to be wasted on this team. He doesn't have enough care. He does not. He's going to run a lot of carries, and he's not going to. People are going to be able to focus too much on him. Having said that, Bob, I don't know what his winning record is. I feel like he has a winning record against me. So this is a team he's going to win a few games. People are going to be frustrated, feel like they shouldn't lose to him. But I mean, it's.
He also has a tough schedule, if that helps.
That doesn't help him.
He picked up a nice center, Sam Mustafa, in a draft. I know Tom really wanted to get that guy.
No, I was a Lloyd Cushenberry fan.
Oh, were you? Okay. I'm not sure that Eldon Smith made a lot of sense to pick up because he's,
Well, tell him who he wanted there, Dennis. What round was that?
No, it wasn't Alvin Smith that I picked that. It was the Mustafa pick in the 4th round. He wanted Donovan Wilson, but I had accidentally crossed off when somebody took Logan Wilson of the Bengals.
Well, I would have predicted him for probably 10-6 if he had Donovan Wilson on the team, but since he doesn't, I think I'm going to go. Probably, I don't like this team. I'll say 4-12.
All righty, Dan, what do you got?
Yeah, I'm going to go. Shit, I was going to go 4-12, but I look at teams as to how I would play against them sometimes, and like Nathan said, not only if you put him in a nickel defense, like I'm playing him first quarter, so I'm basically telling him what I'm going to do on offense. But I'm going to go nickel. If he goes 4-3, he's going to have a 0 nose tackle, and that 4 middle linebacker. That's a 4 against the pass. He's a 0 against the run. So I've got a 5 center, and like Tom said, there are some good centers out there. He's got no pass defense ratings. So, I mean, the offensive line is good. Quarterback is awful. Kamara is good. I got 3-13. He's going to have a tough time stopping people that go 3 wide.
Yeah, you know what? I'm going to change mine to 3-13 too, because I look at that quarterback is the 34th quarterback in the set, and there's only 24 teams in the league. So it seems like something could have been done there. So Tom, what do you got?
I got 2-14. I had my infamous Hugh Jackson cycle in SSFA after I blew up the old Peyton Manning team. So I know bad teams when I see them. I'll go 2-14 here. I'm looking at my schedule. I don't think. Oh, I do play. I put in the second block. Yeah, but I mean, kind of. He's got one of the worst quarterbacks in the league. He's got a running back who's not bad. The defense isn't good. There's not enough there. So,
I predict one of those 2 wins will come against the Jets.
that'll be fine. That'll be fine with me.
You do not play him.
Say what?
You do not play him.
I'm not. I'm looking at next year's schedule. I play him next year, Nathan. I'm thinking in advance.
I see that. Because
All right,
you were one of the easier teams that I was looking for on his schedule, and you weren't there.
Okay.
All right, let's go on to Cincinnati. So Deb, can you talk to us about the Bengals?
Well, time out. Are you saying that we're on to Cincinnati?
We're on to Cincinnati. Yes, sir. I missed that.
I like this team. Well, first of all, I love the coach. Jay is one of the hardest games that I have on my schedule in any league I play. He's really good with ball control offense, which is what he's going to have. He's got that nice Latavius Murray card. I'm sorry, Dennis. Aaron Jones is maybe not as good as you'd like, but between the 2 of them, he's got plenty of carries, and Derek Carr is efficient, doesn't turn the ball over. Receivers aren't great, but adequate.
Read out those long pass units of Derek Carr this year, Zeb.
I'd have to pull up his card. I'm not looking at his card right now.
I think
I can tell you right now. Yeah,
he's
7-14. Yeah, 7-14.
14 long pass wrong.
Yeah, well, what are his flat pass units?
24-27.
I assume they're maxed.
27. Yeah, they're maxed. 24-27.
Yeah,
14-23 short and 7-14 long.
You know what makes Jay so good against me is he always seems to know just when I've moved my free safety, and that's when he throws a long pass. I don't know how he does it, but he's really good at mixing the short passing game and then hitting you over the top. Or me. I shouldn't say you.
Absolutely.
Don't worry about that.
He's got the unicorn, the 6 nose tackle on defense. Great secondary. I mean, he'll be up there. I don't think his team is as good on paper as maybe Pittsburgh, but I really like this team, and I'm going to say 13-3.
All right.
I like the team and the coach.
All right, Dan, we'll let you go second this time. What do you got?
14-2. I like that team a lot. I mean, Derek Carr and Aaron Jones. You know what would be really smart for someone to do is to draft Derek Carr first overall in an inaugural draft in a new league. That would be a really smart GM move.
That was a weird year for quarterbacks. That was before Patrick Mahomes was around.
You've kind of been up and down on that pick, haven't you, Dan?
Yeah, I was. I loved it at first. I hated it second. Now I'm like, man, that's a pretty good. I think somebody took that team over and ruined it, though, didn't they?
No, it's actually still a pretty good team.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
He has Dalvin Cook on his roster.
Holy shit. All right. Yeah, he's got 3 7s, pass blocking, a 5, great running back, 6 nose tackle. I mean, Vernon on the end, and that. I think he just made. What did he just make a trade for? He just made a trade for. Oh, it was the nose tackle.
Yeah, to get the 6.
Yeah, I mean, he's got 5. I mean, he's got good pass rush. His secondary is obscene. Yeah, I got 13-3, easy. Maybe 14-2, but I'll go 13-3.
All right.
Not easy. I mean, you know what I mean. So
yeah, I think I'm going to go 14-2. This looks like one of those.
He's in the semis of Brammer. I haven't seen an update yet, but he went 4-0 in pool play with the 81 Bengals. He scored 149 points in 4 games to lead the tournament, and he was in the semis last I heard today. So
nice. So watch out for Haxor Reynolds.
So, does anybody have any thoughts on the trade for DaQuan Jones?
He gave him a first, right?
Yes.
I mean, that was his missing piece to really bring this team together. It's like the Rugg and the Big Lebowski. It really ties the team together. So
Yeah.
I think it's worth it if you need that one piece. Go grab it. He gave back a 6, but he's giving up his first next year. It's going to be a low first. I think it's
and also you're talking about, as Zev said, one of the easily one of the best coaches around. So if Jay's going to pay extra to go for the year, he's probably going to get his money's worth. And that's not always the case for other people.
So if I would have stayed, if I didn't get Kittle, I was going to go Patrick Queen or Raekwon Davis, and I was going to offer him. He and I talked. I was going to offer him Dalvin Tomlinson for a second, and I think he was thinking about that. So if Dalvin Tomlinson gets a 2, then Daquan Jones certainly is worth a 1 in my opinion because of his 6.
I mean, is this this 6 is he may be spending a first round pick on a 1 or 2 year rating.
A 1 year guy. Yeah,
it's going to be a 23 or a 24 pick though in the first.
He signed elsewhere. He signed elsewhere, didn't he?
He's in Tennessee. He's going to be a 4-3 D tackle next year.
I feel like
he's at Carolina.
Carolina.
Yeah.
If this was a different coach, I don't think that this necessarily makes it through the TRC.
Makes it through where?
I don't see what the difference is between this trade and a bunch of the other trades that get reviewed and overturned. You're trading an older guy who is clearly. I mean, I don't have a problem with the trade. That's how I vote. I just don't see the difference between this trade and a lot of the other trades I see getting.
I don't know if I'm allowed to. I don't know if I'm allowed to say anything regarding the TSC. It might be too soon from last year. So I don't know.
Actually, Tom, watch out. Larry Davis will kick you out of this league if you complain. So,
that's right.
Gotcha. All right, Nathan.
Dan, you left voluntarily, didn't you?
What's that?
You left AW voluntarily?
Yeah, I love Larry. By the way, I'm not jumping on Larry. I'm jumping on the format and the secret cabal, not Larry. So I don't want to. I like Larry a lot. So.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. Yeah, we all like Larry.
All right, Nathan, what's your record prediction for the Bengals?
I'm gonna say I really like this team. I've got this as one of the best 3 teams for sure. But he does have a tough schedule. I'm gonna go to his defense real quick. Yeah, I'm going 13-3. He's got great ratings. He knows how to coach. I like the inside backer that can blitz. That's cool. I mean, that's pretty rare. 4-10 inside, 3-4.
Right.
And he's got some pass rush on the line. He's got pass blocker. He's got everything. And, you get a guy like Latavius Murray's got a nice card. And even Aaron Jones, I mean, he's chunky, but, you can run him in, run left, and you're better running him in run than you are throwing bombs with some of these quarterbacks. So I'll go.
And he can go deep. So Jones can go deep, which is nice for a back. So, Tom, what do you got?
I'm going 14-2. I mean, Derek Carr's card is really good. You guys said Murray's got a good card. He's got a good offensive line, and this Aaron Jones off tackle wrong is really not that bad if you've got a good line, and then you're going to pop the long game every now and then. And that's the number 2 back. He'll sprinkle him in a little bit. And the defense, like Dan said, the secondaries have seen. Jay knows what he's doing, and that's why I think he'll have that type of record. I might pick 11-5 for someone else, but for Jay, I'll pick 14-2.
All right, Dan, talk about the LA Rams, Wayne Unruh's team.
I could coach Jay's team to 8-8 easy. So. The Rams. This is a good team. I actually like this team. It's got a really good offensive line. It's that Phillip Rivers card is. I was initially going to look at it and say, "Well, it's Rivers. It's his last card, whatever." It's a good card, and he's got a set of pretty good backs, low turnovers, which you've heard me say a lot on a few teams. So good pass blocking, good run blocking. Good running backs. Judy, the receivers are good enough, and they've got those big hits like Nathan likes and talks about. Tight end's a little weak. He's got a good line if he goes 3-4. He's got some weaknesses in linebacker. Good pass rush, but correct me if I'm wrong. You guys have played against him a lot. I think he's more of a stand. He's not very aggressive on D. He's kind of a stand around guy. Am I correct?
It depends on the personnel, but yeah, he doesn't leave a lot of holes.
But he's sneaky with it because he'll stand around for a while or like just move the safety to short pass occasionally. Then all of a sudden he'll like all out run KU or do something, So he's very sneaky that way.
It's funny. The other night on that Monday, and this is relevant to his team, what you said, Tom. The other night on that Manning game, when Lamar Jackson fumbled at the end of the game, Peyton Manning right away was like, "Holy crap!" He said he stayed in zone the entire game, the defensive coordinator for the Raiders, and he brought almost an all-out blitz on that play and overwhelmed Jackson, and he fumbled. So that's the type of defense that as you seem to be saying, that he does. So based on that. And I like his team. I mean, I'm going to go. He's got a good history with records, obviously. I'm going to go 12-4 here with this team.
Solid. All right, Tom, what do you got?
I already went 14-2. I said.
Yeah, the pass. But let me add
the
pass.
We're on to the
Ram. Pass blocking too.
I'm sorry.
So with the pass blocking, he's got 5'7", 7'5", and Eckler's a 5 too. So he's going to be able to throw.
Nice.
Let me catch up, Dennis. Go around the horn.
All right, so I'm going to go a little bit less than that. I agree with you on all your points. I'm going to go 11-5. I think you'll be there as a strong playoff team. Maybe the running backs are just a little bit less than what I'd like. All right, then Nathan, what do you got?
For a guy without any running backs, you sure are picky by other people's.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like Ed has Malcolm Brown and Austin Eckler ranked in the 30s, just like my guy.
Yeah, but he's going to have all 5s and 6s, and on one side he's going to have a 6 at tackle, 6 at guard, 6 at center.
That's true.
I actually agree with you, Dennis. I don't like the running backs all that much, and I mean Rivers for the set seems to be middle of the road or lower. I do like Judy. I don't know. Claypool, I assume, has some good yards on him.
Very good, yeah.
Foster Moreau actually can go deep and for a good amount of yards. So I do like the option. It's nice to have the O-line. These types of offenses, when it's like an okay quarterback and like just sort of not big play running backs, like when I say big play, like they can get a first down on a run a lot of the time. They do tend to struggle. So like that's the part I don't like about. I like the big play receivers, but you got to get people to call a run to use them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
As far as the big yards, not necessarily dominant, like they catch no matter what. So I actually don't have him rated that high, especially is he going to be a 3-4, I guess? I mean, it doesn't really matter. His linebacker he does have one pass rusher there. But he's got a lot. He can definitely be taken advantage of on defense because of the linebackers. And at least his corners are both 5s. I don't know. I don't really love the defense or the offense. I'm going to go 7 and 9 just because he does have some good ratings. For me, I don't think I would enjoy playing with this team at all.
All right, Jeb, what do you got?
Well, first of all, I want to say I'm really glad that Myles Garrett was suspended for about half of the year last year, because that kept his pass rush down to just a small asterisk.
Instead of a 6-12-12.
Let's see. So what?
Yeah, but the other team's injuries go up when you play them.
I'll bump him down. I'll bump him down to a 10-6.
I'm also looking at my.
Bump him down to 11, Dennis, for me.
Whoa,
I need I need to start predicting some people to lose, don't I?
At some point, but you're only 14 games above 500.
Okay, well,
I'm sure we've looked at a lot of good teams so far.
And
we just started with the high ratings, didn't we?
Was it last year or 2 years ago? Wayne went like 14-2 with what looked like to be a pretty average team.
Yes, you're right.
He may have had the best record in the league, and he did lose in the playoffs. But I wasn't surprised by that just because I felt like I didn't think it was a 14-2 team.
Do you guys remember how he lost the playoffs? Dennis.
I remember.
I was calling. Do you guys remember how he lost the playoffs last year?
I remember.
He was beating Dennis, and how he missed? Was it a 2-11 or 2-10 field goal with like 2.5, 2-11?
Yeah, 2-11 with 2 minutes left. He would have put me up. He would have gone up 9 and put me out of business.
Oh.
And Dennis went on to the Super Bowl.
Yep.
Yeah.
That was the worst loss I've ever called of a game I called.
Wayne is I don't against me. I feel like I've had better luck against Wayne than I have against Jay, but he's one of the hardest coaches I play against. I like this team. Don't overlook Boston Scott. He's got he's 80 carries.
Yeah.
But he may be the best running back on the team.
Right.
Just in terms of his card. He's going to get a lot of play. I'm going to say 10-6. But it wouldn't surprise me if he does even better than that.
Tom, what do you
got? Interesting. I'm looking at the Boston Scott card now. I did like the team a little better, I think, than Nathan and Dan did. Something Nathan did. I think that offensive line does go a long way. He's got is there decent blocking back for blocking? Hold on.
He
only got 3 left 4s there. But still, and I think Eckler is the only 4 blocking back. For according to the computer, I think Eckler's card, guess wrong, is not that bad at all, and Scott's pretty good. Rivers, the interceptions are right bother me a little bit. His short pass isn't quite as good as I would like. Defensively, what bothers me more is I don't think Wayne likes to blitz a lot, and I don't know if and certainly not free safety blitz a lot, and I don't know if he's really going to try to take advantage of Reddick and Myles Garrett with the heavy blitzing to try to make the defense do a little more than the ratings might allow. And I think if you got those safety 4s and all those linebacker 0 types, that's going to hurt him. So I'm not sure where to go with that. I think I started out optimistic, and now I'm on the defense side. I'm talking myself out of it. I'm gonna go 7-9. Also, I think I need to have some losing records in there too. I'll go 7-9, but I would not be surprised at 8-8, 9-7. I think the team can be very scrappy. That's for sure. The defensive pass rush should be the key, I think, and if Wayne can use it aggressively to try and overcome some of his difficulties on defense.
Well, if you're listening, Wayne, on 3rd down, don't be afraid to, or even on 2nd and long. Speaking of pass rush, don't be afraid to use David Onyemata as your nose tackle.
Exactly.
There you go.
Although there's a lot of good centers out there, Zeb.
There are. Two of them are on Zeb's team. Okay, so let's move on to Tom and the Pittsburgh Steelers.
All right, I got to bring them up. Hold on.
This is Aaron Rodgers and Gus Edwards combination. That's a nice offensive 1-2 punch.
Yeah, with Will Fuller and Marquez Valdez-Scantling at wide receiver.
Yeah, so this team is interesting because they look real good on offense, and I'm surprised that they've got some holes on defense. And I would have thought the way this offense looked, Ron would have made sure to cover those holes. Considering give away all of his draft picks, but Rodgers has got a really good card. I forget now, was he 8-13 or something that deep, and he's got plenty of short pass completions. He looks really good. We know what kind of cards Gus Edwards get, and Ezekiel Elliott actually has a pretty nice off tackle wrong card with I think 6 and 7 short gain. So that's a pretty good way to start your team. And then offensive line. See, this is what's weird is you've got left tackle 5'7", left guard 6'7", center 4'7", right guard 0'5", and then right tackle 0'5".
No, the right tackle's up. Right tackle's a. Oh yeah, you're right. You're right.
I'm looking at the rosters this in Excel because
the
league manager is a little bit. Yes, I guess it's not that bad. I thought he had something like a 4-2 starting, but it's not too bad if the zeros over there. I guess the tight end Donald Parham doesn't excite me. Jordan Aikens' card isn't too bad, but not a lot there. The receivers though, like Zeb was saying, where was I when Will Fuller got maxed out short? But Will Fuller maxed out short with a big average as well. I think he's 15-21 deep. It looks like one of the better receiving cards in the set. Marquez Valdez-Scantling was a guy I always liked, and he's always got a good long pass card now. 12-18 deep, drops a lot of short stuff, but I think you'll live with that. So I like the offense a lot, but then the defense, and Ron's the only defensive guy. I'm guessing he might go 4-3 here, which I think he prefers. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I see. 4-3.
Which would be 5-5-4-4.
He
Well,
does have a 6-rated linebacker though.
Yeah, Bilal Powell's a 4
Yes.
nose tackle, so he might go that way, and he got Michael Walker next to Denzel Perryman to go with 2.
No, well, Brian, Michael Walker's an outside linebacker as a rookie, Dennis.
Right, so I'm saying that he'll go with a 3-4.
Yeah.
And put Denzel Perryman on the inside next to Michael Walker, and then play with the 4 and the 0 on the other side.
I see what you're saying. You're dividing the 4.5. I always go outside looking. Yeah, the 3-4 actually I think looks like it would make more sense to be a much better defense. If you play a 3-4 with an outside linebacker 6, that's pretty good to play with. And one of his inside linebackers is a 6 against the run, so that'll help that nose tackle 4. Then he's going to live with a 0-4-0 on the other side. I knew he tried to linebacker 4, but he didn't. So liking the team better with that 3-4 configuration. Secondary is weird. You got Jair Alexander as the corner 6, and then you got 4s everywhere else. Anthony Everett guest starring as the starting right corner. He's a DB4. So it's an interesting team. I like the offense a lot. I think the defense can do enough to get by. I've been overpicking with a lot of teams, though. There's not a lot of pass rush. Dump off could hurt him. I don't know if Ron's really a 3-4 defense guy, but he's a very good coach. 3-time SOMIFA champion. So I wouldn't put it past him. But I think he's had some bad luck lately. I think that might continue. I'll give him 9 and 7, but I wouldn't be surprised at 10 and 6. I think he'll definitely winning record.
All right, I will go. You got me concerned on that defense. Not a lot of pass rush either. I'm going to go 8 and 8. I'm going to say he has one of those frustrating years, and he regrets not filling some of those holes. Oh, wait a minute. It's Gus Edwards, too. Shoot. Make that 10 and 6. Forgot about that Gus Edwards card.
There you go. Now we know what a running back is worth.
2 wins. Get
Exactly.
the top running back in the set. All right, Nathan.
I actually have him as one of the better teams, just below definitely the top 3, below maybe a couple more. So, in that 5 to 10 range for sure. And I did message him about his corner because the DB4 would drop to a 0. And I know he was real active earlier in the season trying to get some guys in some trades. But he messaged me today saying he just got back from vacation and that he's worn out and look at it. So he might actually look to make a move or 2 here.
You better hurry.
Yeah, I know.
Text him. I'll give you his number.
With Rodgers and with Edward, Gus, and the 2 receivers, Fuller and Scaling, I mean, that's really disgusting. The guess wrong with that kind of a quarterback, the damage you could do.
And a good line.
And a good line. I mean, this offense could be really good. Zeke, I think, is higher on fumbles, but I haven't looked at it. Maybe you guys would know, but his card looks a little better than it has been in a couple of years, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, I like the team. I'm gonna say 12 and 4.
Nice. All right, Jeb, what do you got?
That quarterback running back combo, it is really good, and we know it goes a long way in strat. So
this is the type of quarterback with those types of receivers that people can be like, hey, I'm going to guess pass, and I'm still going to throw a bomb because I don't give a crap if you're going to single cover them. If you get a good matchup, you're going to have to do more than just simple run pass calls. Same with Edwards. I mean, that's a disgusting. Like, was it 26 combos where he still gets positive yards against, right? Something like that.
Yeah.
It's really crazy. He's got some extreme players on offense there.
All right, Jeb, what do you got?
I think it's one of the best teams in the league, hands down. I was really surprised to see Gus Edwards can actually go long.
34-yard max. That's still nice.
It's 34-yard max, but that just surprised me, anyways. This is one of the best teams. Ron has kind of mortgaged some of his future. He's traded away 5 picks from next year already. he's obviously making a push for the postseason this year. And I'm going to say, well, you know what I'm going to say? I'm going to say that Aaron Rodgers is a little miffed because he's still got Taysom Hill on the roster, and he goes 10-6, but then he winds up pulling together and wins the whole thing in the postseason.
Nice.
Rodgers doesn't have any problems with Jacoby Brissett, though.
No.
I didn't think so.
Okay. Dan, what do you got?
I got 11-5 for a lot of the reasons you guys said. I'm not playing him. I know you're going to say, one of the best teams. I agree, but I would love playing him to see. I'd probably just fucking blitz every goddamn play on him, free safety blitz, and have him call draws, call run, whatever. But just to see what would happen. But I'm going to go 11-5, and I'm just amazed that Ron has less draft picks than I do in a draft, as far as now is concerned. So that you never would have seen that a few years ago. So, but yeah, 11-5. This is a really good team. That's a sick combination. Almost rivals Bob's quarterback running back combination. But
that's right.
All right, I'm gonna jump in here and do the Titans real quick because we've been
Let me add, Dennis, that quarter one, Pittsburgh plays two of our panel members, Seattle and Dallas.
Nice.
And they play Tampa Bay, who was here earlier.
Very good. All right, so the Titans, Nick's team, he's got Nick Foles, Damian Harris, and J.D. McKissick. So we'll take a quick look at his offensive line. It doesn't look good. Not a lot of pass blocking.
This is he went nuclear blowing up the team, he said.
Yeah, so he's got Marvin Jones and Deontay Johnson. His receivers are probably the best part of his team with Tyler Boyd as well. He picked up Michael Pittman Jr., so better days are ahead. Damon Harris is going to maybe prevent him from getting the top pick in the draft because his card's so good, because the rest of the surrounding talent, including Nick Foles' 32nd rated quarterback card, is going to cause this team a lot of problems, although at least he does have a good flat column. So this is going to be one of those all flat pass type teams, not a lot of pass rush on the deep.
You had that suspect offensive line, Dennis, with the multiple zero run blockers and multiple zero pass blockers.
Yeah, it's a very unique combination. But I think that hurts you less with a flat pass.
That's called consistency.
Exactly. That's called draft position.
Interchangeable parts.
and it looks like he has his quarterback of the future now in Taylor Heineke.
Maybe.
You look good.
Well.
I gotta say.
Yeah, he didn't look bad. He didn't look bad in that playoff game against Tampa Bay last year.
No.
I'm going to skip right to the prediction on this. I'm going to go 2-14 for Mick and the Titans.
You're always so generous, Dennis.
I'm trying to get my record even.
Motivated, remember?
In one fell swoop. Now I know he'll double that win total and rub it in my face. What do you think, Tom?
Go around the horn again. I'm looking at Foles' card.
All right, Nathan.
I'm actually going to give him. Jesus, that's a bad secondary.
Problematic.
Yeah. But you know what? I still am going to give him 3 wins because he has a real good running back. And that's probably the biggest factor if you're a bad team to be winning or not.
Yeah, I would like it. I'd like it better if he had more than 137 carries, because that's still going to limit him to like 16 unfatigued or something like that.
Well, that's more than you got.
That's right. Not if you had my guys together. They got 12 each. Okay, Zeb, what do you got?
Yeah, he's got 5 guys who can carry 50, who are in the 50 to 100 range also, or 4 guys who are in the 50 to 100 range. So he's got plenty of carries, but the rest of the team is just, how do I put it, unexciting. No pass rush. Yeah. I like Michael Pittman Jr. as a nice pick in the 4th round, but I mean, he's not going to help this year. I really like that Tyler Heineke pick. That may be save Mick's future. Plus, he's got some extra picks next year. So I'm going to say 2-14 with better days ahead next season.
Dan, what you got?
I'm sorry.
Mick's a good strat buddy of mine, so he won't be pissed. And plus, I don't play him this year. And if I give him the number one pick, he'll be fine with that. So I'm going to go 1-15.
All right, Tom.
And I need to balance out my record too. So sorry, Mick.
I'm on the fence. I'm struggling between 2 and 3 wins here. I'll go 2-14. Helps balance out the record. Harris doesn't have a ton of carries. And the defense is really brutal. And say no more. I don't know. You know what? I'll go 3-13. I have a hunch. I'll go 3-13.
I think Mick's the type of guy that does realize when he's bad and will do creative things too. He's not going to just sit there and let you beat the living hell out of him.
Great point, Mick. Great point, Nathan.
All right, so we're going to move on to, I think is it Nathan or Zeb up next?
I don't know.
I think it's Nathan. So Nathan, why don't you hit us with the Buffalo Bills?
Ooh, I like this team.
I've got a feeling Buffalo's going to the Super Bowl.
Okay,
that was a song. That was a song around 1980.
That's a Steelers chant, though.
Well, they were singing in the Buffalo game. Well, probably a lot of teams sang it, I guess, but they were singing around 1980 with the Bills. But good, it didn't happen, of course. But they were singing it.
Well, they went to the Super Bowl.
Well, they waited 12 years early. Whatever.
Where does Jamal Williams fall on this? On his kick, on his run ratings.
This is Mueller's team, right?
Yes.
Mueller.
Scott's a great guy, man.
I haven't looked at that card. He usually got a decent little card.
Yeah, he does have a good card. It was ranked 27th in the set by Ed. 119 carries, so he can run it half.
Well, how'd you like to have a franchise quarterback, like whatever he is, 25, 26 years old, everything's going fine, then bang. You know what I'm saying? So we're getting derailed.
40 of the local massage joints, and
he'll be in Miami. He'll be in Miami in 2 weeks, so Tua's hurt. So.
Robert Kraft got off without any problem. What's the big deal?
Yeah, he got off of it. If you got money, you can get away with it.
Players get held to a different standard.
I actually like Jamal Williams' card, especially with as far as guess wrong with a good quarterback like Watson. So, I don't think he's going to have any trouble running with some pretty good running backs. That's wrong. Got really good receivers. His line, looks, reasonable, not great, not bad at all. Good defense, got some pass rush. I assume he's running it's got to be a 4-3, and he's middle linebacker is a 6, which is awesome. You're going to run a 4-3, and he can bring coverage or pass rush. He's got a lot of good pieces. Oh, that's what I didn't like, the secondary, all fours with a 5 nickel. So he's definitely going to be, if he likes to blitz. He could have the fun with this team, and this might even be the type of team. I don't know if you want it. He's got the personnel to stop the run with a 4-3. So I suppose he'll run the 4-3, protect himself on the early downs, and when he gets in that nickel 3-3-5, he can really, protect. He can really come out.
Unleash the beasts.
I might even play a 3-4 the whole game and swap between the run stuffer 5 and the 4-7 at nose tackle. That would probably be more fun, especially since he's got that personnel with those linebackers on the outside. But I like the team. I'm going to say I'm going to say 12-4 because with that secondary, I could definitely see some. I'm going to say 11-5. That is a rough secondary.
All right, I'll jump in. I'm going to go. I'm going to go 10-6. But I think this is one of those teams that you don't want to face in the playoffs. Even they're 10-6, they're in that like 5th, 6th, 7th seed, and you're a top seed, thinking you're all hot stuff, and then you get knocked out by Scott and his Deshaun Watson, James Robinson combo.
They give you Nathan flashbacks.
Zeb, what do you got?
Nathan, a tremendous team at SFA. Did you get diced in that game, Nathan? Well, I'm sorry. Did you have bad luck in the game? I know the guy's a good coach.
I couldn't make a stop on defense. So
Say what?
I couldn't make a single stop. I don't think on defense that game. It was
Okay.
It was not
Because like we talk about good teams and like any team can win or whatever. Like your SSFA team, I know there was so many good teams in SSFA. That was like one of the best teams I feel like I've ever seen in a SOMIFA SSFA league. And you had the regular season record and you lost the first round. That must have been really annoying.
Like the strongest top 8 teams I've ever seen in any league.
Yeah, that was pretty crazy.
All right.
That was to Scott though, wasn't it? Or was it Scott in SSFA? Is he?
I'm not sure on that. I have to double check.
Nathan, who was that?
Tell us your record. Tell us your record prediction while we look that up.
11-5. Well, Nathan, I'll go 11-5 also. Watson's card is tremendous. James Robinson to pair with that is really nice. Line is not too bad. Scott's a good coach. He's when he has a good team, he has a good record. This decision in the front seven is so interesting. 3-4 versus 4-3. I'll be curious to see which way he goes. He strikes me as more of a 4-3 guy traditionally. I'll go 11-5. I think it's a definite Super Bowl contender, though.
Zeb, what do you got?
I don't want to face him in the regular season or the postseason. His secondary is going to be a problem, but it's a great team. I'm going to throw out 10-6. But he won't be an easy team to beat if you do beat him.
All right, Dan, what do you got?
Shit, I want to go 12. I think he goes 4-3 and uses those D tackles in that one end and just calls a lot more pass. And then, fills in flats when he needs, but that 6 in the middle is huge with a 4-3. I want to go 12, but I know I got to balance. I am going to go. I'm going to bring Ed down to 11 and go. No, I'm going to go 11 with Buffalo.
All right, sounds good. Okay, so Nathan, pick up Chicago, and when we come back to you, so we're going to move on to Zeb and talk about Denver.
Denver.
Oh, and Scott is in SSFA, by the way. Nathan, who did you lose to? Was that the Scott team? Nate Norton?
I think it was him.
Yeah, I think it was him. Yeah.
Denver's got Roethlisberger and the great Raheem Mostert. I'm not sure about Sonny Michel's. Well, actually, Sonny Michel has a pretty decent card too.
Yes, he does.
Brandon Ayuk, who I don't like nearly as much as Tom did. I look at the team and he's got good ratings. I traded him Jamel Dean this year for
Miles Jack.
Yeah.
Interesting story, Zeb. I offered him Folorentu Fadukasi for Miles Jack, and he said, "I traded him an hour ago. I wish I had seen your email first." So I would have made that deal with him. I would have John Johnson.
Interesting story too. I just asked him if he would be interested in trading for a 5-rated corner, and he initially asked for Darius Williams. Okay. And I came back to him and I said, I'm happy to trade you either one, but maybe you want to take a close look before you. I asked him why he preferred Williams over Dean, who had the draft pedigree. And a little back and forth, he changed his mind.
There you go.
Which I was perfectly fine with doing that deal either way. It looks like a good team. I also feel like I need to balance out my picks here. The quarterbacks aren't super exciting to me, and then I worry about the carries. But Sonny Michel is a very capable second back. I think I'm going to have to say 8-8. If I had started picking here first, I probably would have him a little higher, but I just can't. Somebody's got to lose some of these games.
Right. Everybody looks good on paper. He does have the 6th best rating.
Not my team.
Okay. A lot of teams. Like I said, this is going to be another one of those super competitive years, I think. I'll jump in here. I'll say 10-6. I'm probably may have to revisit that, but actually I'll revisit it now. 9-7. Nathan, what do you got?
I like his defense from the line all the way back. I mean, he's got a lot of good players, a lot of good ratings, and
look at those 2 nickel corners that are 5.
Yeah, I mean, no one's going to take advantage of him on defense. You're going to have to earn it.
Unless he doesn't move players.
Offensively, line looks pretty good. I like Mostert. I played 4 games with him now in S28, and he's a fun card to use. He's got some good right and wrong. Not crazy about the receivers, I don't think. I think Allen's yards are down a little bit, but he's still probably one of the top catch guys if I had to guess.
Byron Pringle's got that good return card. Yeah.
Who?
Byron Pringle's got that good kick return card.
Oh, yeah.
K-State.
Touchdown 3.
Sorry.
With Roethlisberger and limited carries, that is a concern. And I don't think the tight ends are real great either. I haven't even looked at Njoku's card, but I assume it's not great. I'll go 9-7. I mean, the defense is good enough, and he's got enough plays for enough of the game where he should be competitive.
All right, Dan, what do you got?
We'll go 8-8 like Zeb. I want to go 9-7, but I got to take a win off him just to be even.
Sounds good. And Tom?
I got to go 10-6. I mean, this defense is really good. 6-5-5 and a 3-4. You got the 6 outside linebacker. I think you guys are selling that short on the right side in a 3-4 with those 2 guys in the middle. And then the secondary's got a 6 safety and a 5-6 at the corner and a 4 strong safety. And this is a guy, let's not forget, back-to-back SSW championships just a couple of years ago with really good defenses. His offenses were better. Made 3 in a row over there. I think he's comfortable playing with the defense, even though he was a 4-3 guy over there. I do share the concern of the running backs. I think we're good enough with the flat passing and the defense. I could be wrong, but I'll go 10-6.
Very good. Okay, so we're on to Minnesota. Dan finishes up here. Zeb, can you do Detroit on our way back? And Tom, can you do the Chargers after we finish with a couple more of these teams?
All righty.
All right, so Minnesota, take it away, Dan.
So I'm probably going to bail after this. I'll send you the records after because it's getting up on 3 o'clock here. He's going to go 4 wide set with those receivers. I think. I mean,
yeah, very likely.
He should
do it.
That's it all.
This is one of those teams that I remember. I think Nathan, it was you a while ago, and you talked about 4 wides with like Robert Griffin or something.
Yeah.
This is one of those teams that builds right into what you said with Nick Chubb. Being able to hit some long runs. His run blocking, it's going to be all 0, whether he goes 3 or 4. So he'll get stumped on that every once in a while, but he'll break some runs with Chubb, and you're going to have to pay attention to Chubb. But, I mean, Jesus, Diggs, Lockett, Thielen, and Cooper. The problem, I think, his defensive secondary is pretty weak. And even if he goes 3-4 or 4-3, he's going to have a 4 right up the middle. So if he goes 4-3, put him in a 3 wide, do to him what he does to you, and you got a 0 in the middle. If he goes 3-4, I think he may go 3-4. Who knows? But I just think he's going to have some. There's going to be some bad games by Chubb with a bad offensive line and not hitting those long runs. And he's got a 0 at center.
Well, I think he will go 4-3 because I think he likes to do that. And I think he picked up the nose tackles probably to come in on those nickel situations.
Yeah, that's going to be tough to do with a 4-3 with 4 4s covering receivers. So I'm going to go. I shouldn't say this. Am I playing him? Let's see. Yeah, I am. I'm going to go 6 and 10.
All right. Deb, what do you think?
I think he's going to use. Well, if it was me, I don't know that I would make Chubb my starting running back. I might. I actually like Alexander Madison's card a lot. You can use him unlimited for one half. And Chubb is a threat, but I don't know. He won a Super Bowl with it. I'm not a fan of the 4 wide receiver offense. I guess he's going to probably. I mean, what do you think, Kirk Cousins at quarterback?
Yeah, Cousins will be the quarterback.
You sure?
Oh yeah, and Burrow. That's right, Burrow. He's got Burrow too.
Burrow's got lower picks. Anybody's got a lot of fumbles.
Yeah, I'm thinking probably Cousins with Burrow being the future, but he may just kind of mix and match depending on how who's playing well. I'm not sure I see a lot of separation there.
Yeah, you're right.
I mean, he's got a lot of. He could play a lot of different combinations of quarterback, running back, but I don't think any of them are going to be that good. I mean, I see too many problems. And let me see what the pick wise. I don't think he's going to have that good of a season. 5 and 11.
All right.
I think you got to go Cousins at quarterback. Burrow's long pass is putrid, and if you're going to go 4 wide, you got to be able to throw deep.
Much better. Burrow is almost as good as Cousins on everything, or as good.
Not on long pass. No way.
Well, on the long pass, it's not like Cousins is good. We're talking about 8 combos wrong for Burrow, which is not good. But what's Cousins at? Cousins at 10.
But he's got that long gain at 9, and Burrow's got nothing in the middle. He's got a barbell card, right?
You could put them all on the edges. It wouldn't matter. It's still only combos with 10.
Hey, Dennis would pick Cousins for that 9 roll.
What about for all the fumbles and the picks?
Burrow has more fumbles and less attempts. Burrow has the same fumbles and less attempts.
4, 5, 6.
You're telling me Ed's got Burrow way up over Cousins, that far up, and he's got more turnovers with the same combos?
He's got less INTs, more fumbles.
Yeah, it's the interception. It's the interceptions. I would probably go with Burrow, honestly, because of I could check it up deep more and get fewer picks. So
he's going to go Burrow.
Plus, Burrow's card is more reminiscent of the Brian Hoyer card he won the Super Bowl with.
Oh, nice.
You don't have a blanket 10.
Nice.
Burrow, he's ranking Burrow at 14 in his card rankings. It's not a bad card.
Right.
And he's going to run that 4 receiver set. He didn't try to get a tight end. I mean, what are those 2 supplemental picks? That's where he got his tight ends at.
Right.
And he was actually
love the way he builds his team.
Yeah, so
it is fun the way he does that with his team. Yeah.
This is the type of league I've looked at a lot of teams and said, oh, Dan would have fun playing that team if he wants to run some 3 receiver sets. This guy is going to have those same opportunities if he's running that offense. His defense.
He always runs that offense. He's running for like 7 years. So he's running 4 wides.
I know. He knows he's comfortable with it. He looks for the same, weaknesses and exploit, situations he can exploit that I would if I was running any of those or whenever I want to run them. And
he got 3
additions here and there that, like a nose tackle on the 10th round, he's a 4. So when you run that 3 receiver set against him, he can bring that guy in. He won't go down to a 0. He's got a 6 middle linebacker, which has got to be the best thing to have if you're going to run a 4-3, and a 5 on one side. So he can definitely protect himself. His secondary is the only real problem with all the 4s back there,
including no pass rush.
Yeah, and no pass rush. But people aren't going to pick on you on the flats. It does give you a little more leeway with your doubles and things like that. So I don't hate the defense. I don't love the defense. The offense will be pretty decent. I had him as a middle of the pack type of team, but I feel like this is another example of a team where the guy has got the type of team he likes to play with, and it's in a league where he's going to have a lot of good matchups. So I'm going to put him at 8-8 because that is a really tough secondary. And
Dennis had a 9 in there.
I was just going by what I was hearing. So I'm gonna go 6-10. But I hear what you're saying, Nathan. That is some good points, and it depends on how he does in those matchups against the other middle of the pack teams. He could easily, find himself in the mini playoffs at 9-7.
For what it's worth, I actually like the 3 receiver, 1 tight end better. Like what Dan's got with Kittle. That's a better situation to me because you're going to get bigger gains on the flats, which is where you're going to use that offense a lot of the time.
I like it.
You're saying, Nathan, if you have a stud tight end,
I'd rather have that than a stud 4th receiver.
Oh yeah, sure, absolutely, I agree.
In block 2, you keep an eye on the game number because in block 2, it's going to be 4 wide against 3 wide, Miami against Minnesota. So
7 wide, the 7 wide matchup.
Yeah.
All right, Tom, what do you got?
I'll go 7-9. I know he knows how to play the team. It's a shame to me. I like Chubb's card a lot. I'm not sure what Zeb has a problem with in this particular set. I think Guess Rolling card is really good. I feel like it's a shame that card's going to be in this 4 wide offense where, he's going to get wide died on 1/3 of his rolls, when the defense gets his pass. I would not be surprised at 8-8 at all, but I'll go 7-9.
All right, very good. All right, so let's go to Indy. I'll do Indy real quick.
Who am I supposed to be scouting again?
The Chargers.
The Chargers, that's right.
Take a look at the Chargers. Okay, so I picked Indy because they got a really solid quarterback in Josh Allen, and my favorite halfback, I have him in a lot of leagues, in Chris Carson. So let's see how the rest of the team looks. Good pass blocking, with 5s and 7s. He'll switch back and forth, bring Ryan Bates in on 3rd downs to give him an extra 5 at the center spot. Let's take a look at that Josh Allen card real quick. Got good must runs, get you 10 yards or more from 2 to 6. But the bread and butter on this card is that short pass guess wrong with the must runs sprinkled in guess right. And he can flat pass. So when he gets those dump offs, he's going to get good positive results. And he'll hit you with a bomb once in a while. So solid card. Julio Jones is still, got his A game going.
No long games, though, I think.
Yeah, no more long games. Plus 40 and no double team receptions. Kelsey's, best tight end in the set, best tight end in the NFL maybe for 3 or 4 years now. The opposite wide receiver, I guess he's going with Sterling Shepard. Yeah,
Kelsey's going to be double teamed a lot. That's my prediction.
Yeah, he'll get a lot of attention. Julio will as well. Grady Jarrett is a defensive tackle, but I bet you he plays at the 4-3. So that's going to be 4-6, 4-5. I think this looks like an okay defense. I don't really see, besides Carson, who's going to get you to guess run. David Johnson is the other back, as well as Deion Lewis. Johnson's pretty good too. Actually, Johnson and Carson's a nice 1-2 combo. I just don't think he has enough weapons at pass rush and at receiver to make up for these couple of holes on defense.
Yeah, Johnson made a nice comeback from his disappearance for a couple of years.
Yeah, so this card is very usable. I'm going to go Indy. I'm going to go 8. I'm going to go 8-8. Nathan, what do you think?
I'm going to have him a little higher than that. Good quarterback, good running. I mean, Carson is good. I do like the David Johnson card too, a little bit, or I think I do. I don't have it in front of me. Good receiving options. Not a bad offensive line. Good secondary. I mean, He's got to win. I got to give him at least 9 wins. I'm going to go 9-7.
All right. Zeb, what do you got?
I don't love the receiving options that much. I mean, other than Kelsey, I think he's going to be. I don't think he's diverse enough there. I think he's going to be too easily double teamed with just focusing on a couple of players. So, David Johnson might get more playing time than Chris Carson just because Johnson is another credible receiving threat. Again, there's a lot I like about the team.
Oh, and he also has Clyde Edwards-Helaire, so that's another one that I don't think his card is better than.
Yeah, but I mean, he's a pretty mediocre stretch.
Right.
That's a chunky.
Yeah. Although, I mean, it's a good pickup for, I would
Andy
love
ought to be cut because he lost the game tonight. That fucker. Sorry, Zeb.
We're not mentioning that. We're not mentioning that.
Came out of my mouth before I said it. Sorry. Before I thought about it.
So what am I at? I guess I'm thinking 9-7.
All right. Dan, you're still here. What do you got?
I don't play him, so I'm going to go 7-9, so I can get 2 wins, 2 losses to even my record. So I'm going to fly, guys. So sorry, Zeb, that I ruined that game for you, but I'm pretty pissed off about it. But so so I'm going to take off. I'll email you the rest of my picks sometime in the morning.
Thanks a bunch.
All right. See you guys later. Thanks.
See ya.
Tom, what do you got for Indy?
Zeb says if only he had left 5 minutes earlier. I got for Indy now. Look at the last 5 years of this team: 9-7, 9-7, 9-6-1, 10-6, 9-7. Consistency. He did have a 6-10 season before that. I gotta go 9-7 for the 4th time in 7 years, and it was 9-6-1 one other time. I'm disappointed in Josh Allen's long pass card with only 11 units of long pass wrong. But I kind of like the team. I think he goes 4-3 with Bobby Wagner in the middle of that 66 and all 5 secondary. It seems like the type of team that he's comfortable with. I wouldn't be surprised if he did a little worse, 8-8 or even 7-9, especially since it seems like almost every team in the league this year is at least pretty decent, which helps my draft position. But I'll go 9-7 for the Colts.
Sounds good. Are you ready for the Chargers?
Yeah, I got to bring them up. I need about 90 seconds.
All right. So the Chargers have Tom Brady with Josh Jacobs and looks like Ty Johnson as the second back. Low in the ratings category, the 22nd out of 24 teams with only 69. Pass rush, pass block, 58 there. Low receivers and low special teams. So this team is going to have some issues outside of Brady and Josh Jacobs.
All right, I'm ready, Dennis. So, yeah, the Chargers, such an interesting franchise. We all remember the halcyon days where they would have been number one in the ratings with that old team that he used to have with just a bunch of massive guys running around. I'm sorry?
Cameron Wake, among others.
Yep, Terrell Suggs, Earl Thomas.
Kaepernick card the one year. He went like 15-1.
Yep. He went 15-1 or 14-2 a couple of times.
He also had the Rex Grossman era, as I recall.
Yes, he threw nothing but bombs at Grossman one year. I think he went 8-8. It was not his cup of tea as a coach. But it's so weird to look at this team because the defense is really bad. I'm going to start there.
Yeah, that is very on TJ like.
Well, this team, it's funny because this team had been falling off and was ready to totally fall off the cliff. And then Brady had a little bit of resurgence with the Buccaneers. But even so, you're going 4-4-4-0 on the defensive line. You're going 4-4-0 at linebacker. If you want to go 3-4, it's 4-0-0-4. And then the secondary, let me try and get this down. You got 2 safety fives. And you got 5 dead safeties. You only got, I guess, none of these guys then. So, Zeb, you tell me a DB4 is not a corner 4?
Correct.
I didn't know that. Okay. Well, in that case, he's got corner 0s and safety 4s. So this is the worst defense in the league, and yet he's still got like Trent Williams and Tom Brady on offense. So I'm saying
move those guys out.
yeah, but it would be a good time to move those guys out. So you got Brady, got a really good card. I think he's 8-13 deep. I mean, I like Brady's card. Jacobs actually isn't that bad. Line will go off tackle wrong, which I think is important when you have Brady, but the receivers aren't that good. Yeah, it's funny how you still see like shades of the old teams in some of these teams. Like he still has Jimmy Graham, who was such a big part of that team for many years. The offensive line's got some pass blocking. It's got a little bit of run blocking there with Cody Whiteheart as a guard 6 and Trent Williams as a 6. So the offense might not be that bad, although the receivers aren't good, but the defense is really brutal. So for me, I'm gonna go 5-11.
I'm gonna go even worse than that. I'm gonna go 3-13. I think he'll be in position to pick his next quarterback and trade away Brady if he can find a deal he likes. Nathan?
The last part's the key.
Yeah, I don't like the defense, and I don't know if he likes to blitz. I don't think I've seen him do a lot of it.
He doesn't move much. No,
I
traditionally.
wouldn't hate to play with his defense, to be honest, just because I know exactly what I was going to do. But I'll go 6-10. I don't think it's all horrible.
All right, Zeb?
Offense is definitely usable.
I like how his receivers are rated 1.5 and as ranking.
Yeah,
by
I'm open.
I kind of wish TJ was here because I would, I'd be interested in asking him if this has just been a case of bad drafting, bad luck, or if there's kind of been a shift in philosophy from management.
Zeb, I'm not going to speak for TJ on that, but one thing I will say, and Paul mentioned it many, many years ago, which is true, 10, 12 years ago, it was a lot easier for maybe the handful of guys who were really good drafters, or maybe 15 years ago, the pre-PFF era, for those guys to draft really, really well than it is now. So I don't have TJ's draft record in front of me, but it's a lot harder to draft. It's a lot harder to dominate in the draft now than it was 15 years ago if you were a guy who really knew what you were doing back then. Paul mentioned that both in terms of drafting and in terms of his coaching and winning.
Oh, so it just may be a case of the tide rising around him, so to speak, in terms of level of ability.
Yeah, maybe he's not getting studs in the 4th round and 5th round. Maybe he was doing that back then. I don't know, because his roster was so sick back then. How do you even put that together in a fall league?
I don't see him having a good season. In terms of play style, I know that in the past when I played him and he was loaded with 6s on defense, he wasn't big into player movement. But
no, he always
there's really no reason to be moving him around when why leave an empty zone when you got 6s? You don't need to cover for anybody. So I don't know if that was just a function of the sheer overwhelming quality on the team, or if that was just his preferred playing style. And it's possible that because he never had to adapt to having 0s, that he may not feel comfortable with player movement on defense. It'll be interesting to see this season. I don't like the team. I think he's gonna, even with Brady and Josh Jacobs, who has a nice card for a 3.9 average, he's going to struggle to move the ball. He's going to struggle to stop people. I personally would be interested potentially in trading for Brady next season if you're picking a quarterback high in the draft, TJ, and I predict you will be near the top of the draft with a record of probably 3-13.
He's been 8-8, 5-11 to 6-10 the last 3 years, going from most recent to least recent.
Very good. Okay, I will pick out Houston since we just did the Chargers. Houston is Paul usually likes to be the Chargers, but in this league he's Houston. So let's take a look at a 2-time champion or a 3-time champion with Drew Brees in his final card.
I don't recall.
Tom, what has he done the last few years with Brees, his record-wise? Take a look at that while I talk about this Brees card, which is really good. I mean, even when he was going out, he got a nice going away present from Strat, maxed out flat, decent guess wrong short and even decent guess strong long. So
the last 3 years for Paul have been 8-8, 9-7, and 8-8, but he did win 2 playoff games with that 9-7 team, which I think would have put him in the semifinals, a wild card game and a quarterfinal game. Before that, he was making the playoffs much more regularly. He had a losing season in 2014, but otherwise he was winning things every year. It has now been since the 2012 set, since he made the Super Bowl and lost 24-14. And he is a 2-time SSF SOMIFA champion in the opening decade, 05-06, when
back to back. Yep.
when Ed, Paul, and Ron Martin were dominating the league.
Nice. So he's got Kenyon Drake and Ronald Jones to juxtapose against Drew Brees' card. Brandon Cooks, Zay Jones. Brandon Cooks and Chris Godwin are going to be his 2 top receivers. And they're both very good. I think Jared Cook's got a decent tight end card. Let's see. Yep. Very nice card, actually. So he's got good targets. He might run a lot of 3 wide and 4 wide. I'm not sure who his 3rd wide receiver would be.
Well, he does have probably the only true fullback or blocking back in the league. So use check. I don't expect to see a lot of. I expect he'll stay with a fairly traditional offense on first and second down.
And man, Paul's not a big 3 wide guy. I think I've seen him sprinkle it in a little bit, but I wouldn't say he uses it a lot.
Right, and that makes sense.
With Jared Cook, I wouldn't be going 4 wide.
Right,
yes, that's right.
All right, so we'll stick that with the blocking back halfback set. Looks really good. On defense, he has Tyson Alualua, who is a nose tackle, so he'll go 3-4.
Well, you got Fletcher Cox as a 6'10".
Oh yeah, so he'll run him out there as a 5'10".
He loves the 4-3.
Oh, he does love the 4-3, huh? Let me see.
Yeah, but linebackers look pretty lousy.
And it don't matter. He's running a 4-3.
Died in the wool 4-3.
Yeah, I stand corrected. So
he's run that with really bad linebackers.
That's true.
You guys might remember the first year as 28. He had a really good record.
Didn't
he
take Raekwon Davis in S28 this year?
He did, but there's a little bit of a departure from him. He loves the 4-3.
So he may be going 3-4 in both leagues.
It's possible. So we'll see how he pulls it out. But I would side with Nathan that he's going to run a 4-3.
Well, either way, ratings are going to be a kind of an issue for him on defense.
Yeah, he's going to have good pass rush though. So he'll have 2 10s and an 8 on the line.
Yeah.
And then he can stop you with a run with his 4-3 cards if he goes that way. But the rest of his team, the only other 5 is Jason Barrett. The rest are 4s. So when he goes to a nickel, Brian Poole get in there as a 5. The second 5.
So as a quick aside on that subject, I'm not sure if anybody else noticed this. I just found out today that there was a few tweaks made to the 4-3 draft defensive cards this last season.
Yeah, that was one of the things.
I remember reading about that. That's right.
And Jay Villing was actually the one who drove that change with NFL Ed's help.
What was done to him? I haven't seen it.
Yeah, look at they have a yardage around, so when there's min and zone, it's easier to make a stop.
They have a long game on 8.
Not exactly, but check it out. Check it out when you get a chance. So
they basically put in more stuffs on defense.
Yeah, so it more closely resembles a 3-4 inside the 10 when there's min and zone. At least not perfectly, but they move like some things around.
Oh. Okay, yeah. I'll look at it.
Yeah, I'll send you a link.
So, I like to have 2-point conversions against certain 4-3 teams a lot more.
So nothing special on special teams for the Texans. So I'm going to actually predict Paul with a losing record for a change. I'm going to go 6-10 with this squad. He could prove me wrong with that Breeze card, but I think that defense is going to have him in a lot of close games, and he might not pull him out this time.
Yeah, he's had a couple of 5-11 type of seasons in SFA or whatever. The running game is not really good. And if it's a 3-4, secondary is really not that great, although he's got pass rush. I'll go 6-10 also. I think it's going to be a losing year for this team. And also, we've seen so many good teams. It seems like most guys have a decent running card. And Drake's the best guy we're looking at, right?
Yeah, Drake and maybe Ronald Jones is maybe his best guy.
Yeah, I think Ronald Jones will be the main guy, especially if he's rolling deuces.
Oh, yeah, that's a nice one. Actually, I'm going to move him up to 7 and 9.
Yeah, look at Ronald Jones because you said Drake, so I was looking concentrate him.
Nathan, what do you think?
Yeah, I've got him. Quality of the roster as a little below average. The O-line does not look good. I mean, there's two players that are good, and then it's problematic.
I'm definitely amending my record. I'm sorry, Nathan. Good.
No problem. Paul really knows how to run this type of team, though, even with the problems. I'm going to go 8 and 8.
Dennis, I want to switch mine, Dennis, to 9 and 7. This Ronald Jones card gets wrong is pretty good, and I thought there was like almost no running game before.
Is it good? I haven't seen it.
Linebacker off tackle wrong is pretty good. I mean, for what we're looking at here, you're not talking about. He's not going to lead the league in rushing, but it's good enough in Paul's hands. So I'm going to go with 9 and 7.
Seb, what do you think?
I think Paul has in the past against me done a really good job with teams that look like garbage on paper. I think that he can. Well, he's done a good job against me with teams that look great too. But he seems like he's one of the better coaches at who's not bothered by having holes on the roster and just finds a way to use double teams or play calling to work around problem areas. So I mean, I see there's issues on this team, but I think Paul is the kind of coach who can sort of help his team achieve well or overachieve despite those holes. I'm going to say, plus this is Drew Brees' last season, and I know that Paul loves Drew Brees, so I think that he's going to be extra motivated this year. And I'm going to predict he at least makes the mini playoffs. I'm going to go 9 and 7 with this squad.
Very good. I'm boosting mine to 8 and 8. You guys have talked me into it.
And I was hoping that I wanted to see if Damian Lewis would fall in the most recent draft because he was a 0 rated pass blocker, but Paul made sure that didn't happen. So shame on you, Paul.
Yeah, it was a good pick. We'll see what happens with him. Okay, we'll go to Chicago now. Nathan, tell us about the Bears.
Okay, Chicago. I've got him as one of those top teams as well, just below maybe the top 5 or so.
So far, very, very competitive season, it sounds like.
Matt Ryan, pretty good card. Jonathan Taylor, real good card. I don't think Mike Davis's card is great, but I don't think it's horrible for some extra carries if you actually burn through all those Taylor ones. A.J. Brown, good receiver. Michael Thomas, I don't know what his card's like. Was he injured a lot last year?
Yeah, he had that. It was like a total wasted season for him.
Okay, well, his card's probably not too horrible, I guess. But Darren Waller, good option. Good offensive line. Not great pass blocking, but because he's got that 3 in there. But that's not a bad line with all those 5s and a 6.
And he can bring in that 4.5 too to replace the 5.3.
Especially with Jonathan Taylor, I think having those running ratings, and I'm sure Tom would probably agree that that's a nice. He'd take that over the passing ones in this type of an offense. Oh, yeah, I tried to trade him for Justin Houston today before I traded for Everson Griffin. He said he's going to use him a lot, that he would only trade him for a first. So,
wow,
I think he's really going to use him a lot. I was thinking he might just keep Watt in there as a 6'6", but he's got a good team, got a good secondary, 6'5", 5'5", some pass rushers. I mean, I would think that this is probably at least an 11-5 team. Let me see if there's anything I don't like.
He's got good special teams too. Ed has him marked with an 8 there, which usually means something juicy. Take a look at it real quick.
I think Isaiah Rodgers has got that nice kick return card.
I think I got
All right.
4. I really don't see anything that I really dislike, from this team at all.
So 12-4.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna go the same. I think this is like one of those super competitive teams that you look at as a possible league champion. So
Yeah.
see how the dice rolls. So what do you think, Tom?
I'm gonna go 11-5. I do like the team a lot. It's hard sometimes to get to 12-4. It's impressive when you look at the drafting. We look at the roster, and you took at J.J. Watt, Aaron Donald, the tight end Darren Waller, A.J. Brown. There's a lot of guys, that are Chicago first-round picks who have hit in a big way and has got a strong team. So I'm going to go 11-5. It's a competitive season. Sometimes it's hard to get to 12 wins. I like Jonathan Taylor's off tackle wrong, so I'll look for a lot of off tackles, I guess. But yeah, I'll go 11-5.
Perfect. Zeb, what do you think?
I think it's a great team. I have them just a notch below Pittsburgh and San Francisco. Plus, Brad's a good coach. I'm going to say probably like 12-4. I really like the 3-4 defense here with the double sixes at end, and I think he should reconsider playing Justin Houston on an every down basis. We'll see if he actually does that or not. Because that can be really hard to run the ball against. And
I think he just meant that he was going to use him in every passing situation.
Yeah, that would make a lot more sense to me. I guess if you're playing somebody that doesn't have a good running back, that's a good way to get them to burn up their carries. And plus, if you line up Bud Dupree out there and rush him off the edge, and you still got a 5 run defender in that slot, bait people into running at Houston, that could work. Matt Ryan is not. For a few years, I think Matt Ryan's strat card has been worse than what you would expect based on his NFL play. I think he's a little underwhelming, but because I think Brad's a good coach. I feel kind of like he's been the one that's drafting like TJ as far as picking up all these great defenders recently.
Well, Brad is really close friends with Ron Martin. I think some of Ron's strat prowess is rubbing off on Bradley. So
I should actually say too. I said I had him like right below top 5. I actually wrote down what I thought of some of the teams in the general range earlier, and I have him as one of the top 3 teams here. So I think this is a really good team.
Awesome. Okay, so let's go on to Detroit. Zeb, tell us about the Lions.
Matt Stafford, not as impressive as I'm sure Brad would like to see. Still a solid quarterback, but I don't know where Ed has him ranked. But I just with a naked eye, I don't have him at the top of the list. Kareem Hunt, I liked his running card. The other running backs are kind of mad to me. And then the rest.
I like Pollard. Pollard's not bad.
No, Pollard's not bad.
Yeah.
He's not.
That's wrong.
He's not going to have me stacking the line.
Quick in your boots.
Yeah. Either.
Right.
I think he's going to have some struggles moving the ball. Defense, love DeForest Buckner. And then he's got Romeo Okwara, who he's going to be doing some mixing and matching on the defensive line. He can bring some pass rush. It's nice to have that 11 pass rush from the defensive tackle spot. I say that he could even go with a 3-4 and just line up Buckner as a nose. That would be pretty sweet.
I did that in spring fever. I paid a fortune to trade for him.
Buckner.
Yeah.
Although his linebackers don't really necessarily make that work too well. They don't work too well for a 4-3 either. Secondary.
Bad linebackers. That's due for the 4-3 or the 3-4.
Well, you're probably better in a 3-4 because at least one of the zones is going to have 2 men in it.
Sure.
He's got 1-6. He's got Minka Fitzpatrick and then a bunch of 4s in the secondary. So I mean, I think he's got a good enough team to win some games, but I don't think he's going to be. I think he's going to be below 500, and I guess you put me on the spot here. I'll throw out 6-10.
All right, I think he's going to be a little bit better than that. I'm gonna stick an 8-8 in here. I think it'll be a surprise 500 team. I like Philip Lindsay too. I guess that's maybe why the running backs are, for this set are usable. Hunt, Lindsay, Pollard.
They're definitely usable, and he's got plenty of carries to go around. Just stick. Don't get away from the run, Brad.
Yeah, and there's a lot of choice. It will be interesting to see what he does on the defensive line. So we'll see how he plays that. Nathan, what do you got?
I like the 6 free safety when your secondary is weak. I mean, he can really do a lot of things. And he does have a couple pass rushers. If nothing else, if he wants to go 4-3 and use those guys on third downs, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. You said these cards didn't look that great when I looked at them initially, the running backs. I had him rated a little below average on the league. I'm going to say 6-10.
All right. Tom?
Yeah, I'm going to go 6-10. The running cards aren't enough. And Stafford, he's not bad, but the flats aren't as great. And it's not enough to carry the team. And that back 7 of defense, I'm not a huge fan of it. I'll go 6-10.
Okay, I'm going to boost mine to 7 and 9 because I forgot the receivers are just there's no explosion, there's no explosiveness there. Okay, so we got the final 3 teams here. So let's just tackle them together. I'll set up Green Bay. Packers are coached by is that Butch?
Dave.
No, Dave. Oh, that's right, Dave Scott. So he's got Ryan Tannehill, who's got one of the better quarterback cards in the set, thanks to Derrick Henry, I think, in the NFL. A little bit light on the.
Oh, I got you. No, good. Sorry.
A little bit light on the flat pass. Let's see. His James Conner. He paid a heavy price for James Conner. I don't know if that was worth it. The card isn't that great. Guessed right. Hopkins and Evans are good receivers. I don't know. What do you think about this offense?
Robert Tonyan's got a nice receiving card at tight end as well.
Yes, and he's a Packers. Oh yeah, great. Yeah, great card actually. Nice short pass double team.
He can even slide him in the backfield, play him at blocking back, and use Hunter Henry as his tight end. So to talk about having a real receiving threat that's hard to double team.
Nice. What is the blocking back rating of?
He's going to need it because he is going to face a lot of double teams with James Conner as his running back.
Yeah, the best thing about James Conner is he can go deep, and he has a 7 pass. Not deep. He has a 7 pass rush, 7 pass block. So when you do go deep, you'll get some dump offs. So.
O-line's a little hot, and when you can't run the ball or get people to guess run, that could be a problem.
Yeah, and I don't like having a 3 at one of the tackles. That's going to set up some sacks and put you in second and third and long situations. He's got some pass rush on his own with Stephen Tuitt, Demario Davis. He's got Yannick Ngakoue in there. He could run him out at the other defensive end spot. I probably would do that.
And so he traded for Brandon Dunn. So I expect that sure seemed like a clear statement of intent to me as far as running a 3-4 defense.
Right.
Well, he's got the linebackers for it. I mean, he's got 4 guys that are 5 or better. I mean, talk about easily tradable pieces. Those are all, good quality line ratings at the hardest position to fill up lately.
Well, unfortunately, he's all 4s in the secondary, so we will probably just ignore the linebackers completely and just aim a little farther downfield.
This would be a great linebacker core for like a 4-3.
Yeah, stand around type defense.
You think you want to use them a little more for pass rush?
So I think the lack of real threat at running the ball is going to cause him problems. I'm going to go 6-10 for the Pack. Tom, what do you got?
Can Yannick play defensive end also, or only outside linebacker?
Yes, he can play defensive end. So he can
I like that. I like the idea. He could play left end with Yannick and Tuitt, and then still have a 3-4. That's pretty good. The linebackers. But secondary is a problem. Running the ball is a problem. And you gotta move your linebackers around aggressively, I think. I'm gonna go 6-10.
All right, Nathan.
I hate any offense that has running backs. I think these guys are really bad, from what I can tell. And the O-line is not conducive for a pass-happy offense. Although the receivers are good, I like the receivers. In a 3-4, like, yeah, it's part of the 3-4 is like you get to hide your linebackers or you use them for pass rush, and he's just got a bunch of studs. I mean, when you can move them around, but what are you going to do with them? You know, I mean, what's the point? There's no point in moving those guys around. They're all better just sitting there most of the time. They're not going to bring much pass rush. I'm going to go 5-11.
All right, Zeb.
Yeah. 6-10.
All right. Last two
He's
teams.
going to have some struggles, but he'll win some games.
I'm liking that right now. I'm looking like I should get a top 4 pick.
Kansas City, Michael Reeves. Let's talk about the Chiefs. They have the 4th-ranked set of ratings. Goff at the quarterback. Not much help on the running backs this year with Mixon having an injury-plagued year last year. He's got 3 7s on the offensive line, 2 6s and a 5 on run blocks. He picked DeAndre Swift, who doesn't really have a great card, but get him guessed wrong. If you're not worried about the running game, he can hit you a little bit.
So didn't Michael say in a draft review show that he was basically picking for next year?
Yeah.
So when you got Goff, that's what happens.
Yeah.
But he did get it. He get the 6.
It's got to be better, right?
He got Fatty, the 6 nose tackle from Tom. He's got a great secondary.
He's going to have fun playing defense this season.
Well, he's going to be on defense a lot, so that's convenient.
Cameron's setting the boundary corner.
No, I think he's a nickel. Yeah, he's a nickel. That's a 0 there.
So you got a whole
Levi
Wallace.
Yeah.
He
goes 5.6 on the D line, 4.405 on the.
He's got C.J. Henderson waiting for next year too.
Yeah.
Right.
But I'm saying for right now, it's an interesting team because the defense, I mean, that's pretty good. I think you got a 4-1 corner. That secondary is pretty good. The defensive line is really good against the run.
Yeah, I mean, if he doesn't get the nice role to Montez Sweat on the pass rush, though, he's going to be looking at a lot of dump offs.
Yeah, I think it's hard to win defense first in this rule set unless Robinson does enough. And Goff's card is underwhelming, and the running backs aren't really that great.
Yeah, I mean, there's enough, especially in a 24-team league, there's enough teams with quality players on offense. It's hard to win on defense alone.
Yeah. Michael improved his coaching a lot, but I think this is a bridge too far here. I'll go 6-10 with him also.
All right. I will go 7-9. I think he'll fall into some wins thanks to his flat pass. Gus got one of those trick flat pass things in his defense. Nathan?
I got him kind of middle of the road, but that kind of an offense. I mean, I keep going back to the offenses I hate. There's an offense I hate. Goff and Mixon. I mean, I don't know. Maybe Goff's got a good flat pass, and you can work with it with the line. But the line's not bad. 7s.
Looking at Goff, it reminds me, and going through all these teams out that we're almost done, of what Dan said earlier, that Kyler Murray's great at the flat, but pretty much everybody is. And we really see that it seems like almost every quarterback is maxed out flat, which I know in the modern NFL, the completion percentages are up, but it's kind of amazing.
Yeah, I'll go 6 and 10. I just hate golf, so that's part of it.
Okay, fair enough. Zeb?
That whole issue with every quarterback being good at flat passing, has me kind of thinking that bringing penalties back into this league might not be a bad idea, just so we can sort of differentiate between.
You know what you could do is you could run a dime. Oh wait.
So we can differentiate between the quarterbacks who have the ability to pass downfield and those who don't.
I'm down. Let's do it, Zeb. Zeb, I'll support your penalty motion if you support my my motion for TRC reform.
Well, I'm not making a motion right now. I don't know if this is going to be a long-term trend or not. But I kind of suspect that it will be. The NFL seems to be going that way.
Are we tabling the motion already?
There was never a motion made.
Oh.
It was more along the lines of just a comment at this point in time.
When do you see the New York Post headlines? It's controversial.
We see, who are the quarterbacks that have won the Super Bowl in SOMIFA in the last few years? They have not been
Patrick Mahomes.
Well, I would say that was Dexter Mahomes.
That's true. Who won 2 years ago?
We've had some pretty mediocre quarterbacks, and I'm fine with that. But especially as somebody who has a mediocre quarterback, I'm fine with that. But I'm not sure that if everybody's going to have great flat pass cards, it almost seems like everybody's got the same team. Anyway, I'm getting off track here. We're almost done. I don't think he's going to have a great year. And I need to make up a couple losses, so I'm going to throw out 7 and 9.
All right.
I mean, Michael's done a good job of drafting, and like you say, his ratings are excellent. Although I don't love the pass rush, but just the running back situation, and then if you can get him into the 3rd and long, that's where Goff is going to struggle. He's going to have a hard time picking up anything over 3rd and 5.
Very good. Okay, so our last team, the Vegas Raiders. Lamar Jackson has fallen off a little bit from a top 5 quarterback to number 18, according to Ed, but I think this card will play a little bit better than that. Good must runs, and he's got a lot of them. Darrell Henderson, Todd Gurley, and Zach Moss are the running backs. I like that Henderson card.
Yeah, Henderson is the clear number 1 there.
Moss isn't bad either. Like that plus 26 on 9. Can catch a short pass as well. Robbie Anderson's got an underrated card. Well, he's actually properly rated, but pretty. You don't think about top wide receiver, and kind of remind him and Marvin Jones kind of get these kind of type of cards where they're max short and.
Well, Tom knows Robbie Anderson.
Sure.
Yeah.
I know him personally.
Marquise Brown. What has he got? Pretty good yardage. That's a couple of 6s at tight end. They can run block for those guys. It's a decent offense.
If only this team had a center
or a D tackle.
It's got Joe Thuney. Have you talked to him about making a move?
We talked a little bit, and he didn't really seem very interested.
Yeah,
I don't think he's focusing on this year.
Yeah, I think that's the case too. Well, I wasn't asking for a lot.
Man, Jeff, when you get this, contact Zeb. When you get that 6'4" there, that just solidifies that line. Makes it so you get yards even guessed right on the D cards. Might have a little more fun this year with that.
Maybe get a couple of D tackles from him while you're at it.
Yeah, exactly.
let's proxy trade, Zeb. What do you want for that 6? We'll make it happen right here.
I was thinking Nick Boyle would help my run blocking a lot.
There you go, Nick Boyle for help me out here. What's Jason Kelce?
Jason Kelce.
Boyle for Kelce. Who says no? We'll get you guys in contact with each other. Let's look at this defense.
What if I don't want either one of those guys?
I don't know.
I can't figure out the deal. Okay, good.
So they both win and they both lose in that trade. So this is the problem. This defense looks like it's got a lot of holes. Besides Levante David and Brandon Graham. Oh, and Joe Hayden and
Joey Bosa.
Jesus.
You got good guys on the bench.
Embarrassment of riches.
Well, this is the all or nothing defense. You're either 6 or 0.
Yeah,
it's like it says run it here, and it's right up the middle.
Well, I think I would definitely run a 4-3 here so that you can.
This was a 6-back little back.
So you can slide Levante David out to either side.
Yeah.
What would you do if you were playing against him?
Run.
Pound it inside.
A 3 receiver set and line buck the crap out of it when his linebacker couldn't even help him.
Yeah, that sounds like a doable.
And flat pass against 2 zeros the rest of the time.
I like that too. So I can see why the deal hasn't happened because, like you said, he doesn't probably the cost to cover those linebackers on the outside was a little bit too much for him this year because the set's so void of talent on those spots.
Yep.
So he just decided to pack it in. But he's got 3 5s in the secondary.
2. No, 3. You're right. Sorry.
Yeah, so 3 5s. That's not bad.
And the linebackers, it's a weird ass defense.
Yeah, imagine if he would have traded for Daquan Jones.
If I was about to go the other way, I'd have traded away Graham and Levante David and Joe Hayden, and gone for the rebuild route.
Right, he's kind of sticking in the middle. So, what do you guys think for predictions for this team? I kind of like it, but I kind of think that when you have that mindset going in that you're not really going for it, that's going to hurt you. I'm going to go 6-10.
Well, let me jump in here and say I'm going to stick him right in the middle at 8-8 because that will balance my picks out perfectly, I think.
Oh man, I didn't look at that. I'll go 8-8 too. I still need to give somebody else some more wins.
I think I'll go 7-9. It's just such even on offense. He's got like a couple of really good linemen and a couple of scrubs. Is he like one good one?
Can I answer you in 6-10? That would balance you out perfectly.
I know. I'm going to go set. No, I'm 7-9.
Okay, I like that. Take your chance.
I got to drop a win from somebody. Is that what you tell me?
Yeah, 1 win. Nathan, what do you got?
Well, I'm one of the people that does not like Lamar Jackson's cards that much. I mean, I'm not a fan. I don't know. I feel like it's too easy to stop on 3rd downs if he gets into those long situations. Henderson I like, but it's not a lot of carries. I'm going to go – I think I'm going to go 5-11 and balance it out too. That might be like a win under, but I don't like it a lot overall. I feel like he's going to be taking advantage of a lot on offense and defense.
Yeah, so I'm gonna drop mine to 6-10, not just to go for the easy stuff. So Zeb, you're perfect, 192 and 192. So Tom, do you know who you want to drop a win from? Maybe that team in Seattle.
What do I have the Rams record as?
You have the Rams at 7-9.
Minnesota.
You have them at 7-9 as well.
Ed.
You have him at 11-5.
I got myself at 4-12, right?
Yes.
You make me take one off somebody. What do I have you at 12-4? What do I have Tim at?
Tim, you have at 9-7.
And I got Mick at 3-13, right?
Right.
Let's knock Mick down to 2-14.
All right, perfect.
A lot of good teams out there.
All right, Nathan, what do you got? We need to take 2. We need to add 2 losses to somebody, or just one loss to 2 different people. I have you at 194 and 194.
So in this scenario, am I drafting 3rd or 4th? That's all I want to know.
You are drafting
It depends on the tiebreakers.
third.
Third?
No,
Yeah,
third for sure.
Tennessee and Arizona are ahead of me.
Yeah, I don't see any other three. Oh, no, you have 4 wins. I'm sorry. Yeah, no, that's it. You're
I thought
third.
Okay, those are the 4 and 12 out there. Okay, good.
Yep.
All right, I'm dropping Tom to 3 and 13.
There we go.
Okay.
I should do it to 2, but I won't. And then I'm gonna drop Paul, even though I gave him one for coaching. I think that roster deserves more of an 8 and 8.
Perfect. Okay, now I have, in the weird situation, I've got to add.
Wow.
Whoa.
How is
Having
it
this.
4
the
wins.
optimist? Every time we do one of these shows that I watched of you and Tom ends up over and you end up under or right on the money.
Right. I got to see.
It is weird because he's the pessimist. He's optimist. Not the
That's what I'm
pessimist.
saying. What the
I
hell?
think you should add a couple to Cincinnati, Dennis.
I'm gonna add one. I'm gonna add 15 to Cincinnati, 15 and 1.
15. Okay.
Damn.
29 and 0.
I'll put Ed up to 12 and 4 just because he's Ed. Let's see who else I want to raise. I'm gonna raise Dan up to 8 and 8. Then let's go with Nathan up to 11 and 5.
Oh.
There you go.
I like that.
Who has yourself at?
Ramping up the
Minshew
pressure.
Minshew Mania.
Now you really can prove me wrong by going 12 and 4.
What do I have myself at? 10 and 6.
You
Can I
have
change mine
your,
to 15 and 1?
sure, if you want.
Just kidding. No, good.
You have yourself at 10 and 6.
Okay.
So, all right, guys. Well, thanks a lot. I appreciate you guys sticking in there. I know it's late for everybody. Now we're past.
Especially me.
I wanted to do 2 hours. We wound up with 3 hours and 30 minutes. So
That's pretty
I
good.
guess not too bad. So, anybody have any final words
Yeah.
before I shut it down?
You can't blame me this time.
No.
Who's your champion?
Oh yeah, Super Bowl picks. I'm gonna go Cincinnati over San Francisco, just like the '80s.
You know the Bengals never won the Super Bowl, right, Dennis?
What's that?
I know it's easy. You said I said you know the Bengals never won the Super Bowl in the NFL. You said they're just like the '80s. I was teasing you.
Well,
know
they
what you
should have
mean.
won that one. They should have won that one.
Louis
Dropped that
Phillips.
interception, right?
Yes,
Wasn't
Louis Phillips.
So okay, so Dennis, we got Cincy over San Francisco. Okay, who else? Tom, you got one?
I'll take
Yep.
us. I'll take Cincinnati over Seattle.
All right.
I was going to pick the same one you did actually. Cincy over San Francisco. You know that was my first instinct. Yeah, I'll go with that also. Cincy over San Francisco. I'll go with first instinct.
Okay.
Just like
Sounds
just
good.
like the '80s, but in reverse.
Exactly. Just like it, but different. Okay, Nathan.
I want to go last. I'm thinking so.
Okay. All right, Jeb.
Well, I already picked Pittsburgh to win it. I didn't know I had to pick a opponent for them.
You're new to this.
I think we're going to go old school, and I think that the Steelers are going to face Chicago in the Super Bowl.
Oh,
See,
nice. 2 friends.
I thought you were going to pick yourself. Old school Steelers Cowboys. What I was thinking when you said that.
All right,
No one
Nathan.
likes that remark.
No, I do. I like it.
Yeah.
Speaking of drop passes, we're going from one drop to the other. Who did that Cowboy drop it against? It's against Pittsburgh,
Jackie
right?
Smith. Yeah, bless his heart. He's the sickest man in life. Or something like that.
Yep. All right, Nathan, your time is up.
All right. Well, I'm not going. I was thinking of Pittsburgh, but I'm going to go with the popular choice of Cincinnati over Seattle.
Nice.
Three out of
Okay.
4 pundits picked the Bengals to win the Super Bowl.
There you go. Thanks a lot, guys. I appreciate it. Now I really got to get to bed.
Thanks for it, Dennis. Me too.
You and me both.
All right, guys. Take care and good luck this year.
Later, guys. Good luck.